Mic check. Mic. Can everybody hear me good? I have to what's up, Dre? What's good, everybody? Good afternoon. Good afternoon. We got Thanksgiving tomorrow. Um Thanksgiving tomorrow. Listen, welcome back, you guys. This is the Real Nathan Daly. As you guys know, I'm your law enforcement translator. And listen, I have been gone. I've been absent. MIA. Some said I was kidnapped. But I'm here. I'm alive and well. You guys, I've had the craziest month. The craziest month. We're going to talk about it. Long story short, my computer completely died. It crashed. My hard drive crashed. I lost everything. Everything was gone. And it took a while to kind of figure out what the issue was. I couldn't get access to the computer. Later found out it was a faulty hard drive. It was a nightmare. And here we are. On top of that, there were other things going on, you guys, and I don't know. I think there was just so much chaos in the country at the time. I think this all started around the time Takeoff was killed, and I was thinking about. I was just very disappointed by that entire situation with Takeoff. That I was like, man, I don't even want to talk about it. I was just very disappointed. So much senseless death and killing, and all for what reason? This reason, whatever reason, no justifiable reason. And I was thinking about it, trying to figure out if I was going to do a video on it. And I changed my mind. I was like, nah, I don't even want to talk about it. Um, and then I was working on a video for you guys. Um, and then I was trying to transfer some files. And next, my computer just went. And I took that as a sign that maybe I need to take a little break. But then I couldn't get it to work. I had to take the computer in, and then blah 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 blah. So, nonetheless, you guys, there's been a lot going on. Some things I want to cover, some things I just decided not to even bother. It's been a minute. Feels like I haven't did a live stream in like 2-3 weeks, almost like 2 weeks. But you guys, I'm here now. There's so much to catch up on. I'm about to flood you with all kinds of content. I have to go and recap some old stuff that I was working on that I lost. So I'm a little frustrated about that. I backed my computer up maybe 4 months ago, but I have 4 months of stuff that I don't have access to. So a little disappointed, but lesson learned. I need to make sure I back up frequently. So here we are, you guys. And this situation, as you know, we're going to be talking about Shanquella Robinson. We're all familiar with the madness behind this murder mystery involving this young lady and her group of friends, her group of killer friends, right? When this first thing came out, when this first situation came out, it started off, as we all know, it was just kind of like she died. She was overseas. She was in Cabo. I'm gonna give you guys a quick story about me when I was in Cabo. Well, I didn't go to Cabo. I was supposed to go to Cabo. This was maybe like 4 years ago. This was before COVID. My cousin was getting married, so he was having his what do you call that? He's having his bachelor party in Cabo. During that time, you guys, we're all getting ready to go down there. We were planning to go down there within like 2 months. Well, the cartel was having some issues out there, and there was some sort of a cartel war, some turf war, and they were going back and forth, and they were killing a lot of people. There was mass shootouts, and these things were happening on resorts, right? The resorts weren't safe. So, of course, the State Department said, hey, listen, Cabo, go down at your own risk, you guys. Don't. So we're all here negotiating whether or not it was even worth going down there. And I was like, nah, get that. Listen, you guys, I travel a lot overseas. And one thing I'll tell you, I always do my research before I leave. I make sure everything looks good in the country, the best of the best that I can. And now I was like red alert down there. So what happened? The Mexican government was like, yo, we have to fix this problem. Why? You guys, because that killed tourism for them. Absolutely destroyed the comfort and the safety that people want to have when they go and travel overseas. And I mean, Mexico is a hop, skip, and a jump, right? And so we're talking about Cabo. So you guys, long story short, I never went. Because of that situation, all because of the idea that the danger was just too high. So now fast forward, you have a group of friends, allegedly, that decide they want to go on a trip together, do a group trip. Some people, there's so much speculation around or surrounding this case, right? So much to where no one really knows, right? You have you have the group of friends that all went down together to celebrate, right? They're down there to hang out. Of course, we know all but one made it back. Now, here's the problem. Initially, as you guys know, right? I'm not going to play the video. We've all seen the video. If you haven't seen the video, I'm not going to play the video. The video was there's two videos. The first video was with the Shanquella and the other girl were fighting it out. They were fighting. Well, actually, she was assaulting Shanquella. Shanquella wasn't fighting back, right? So we all saw that video. Shanquella was naked and she was being pummeled by the other girl, Dejanay. Now, here's the thing. There was a man that was filming. Whatever his sexual orientation is, I don't know, right? I don't know. I heard all these things. There's been so many rumors circulating behind this case. What we're going to focus on tonight is that the FBI has decided to tag in. They're jumping in and they're going to assist with this investigation. This is going to be a joint investigation, you guys. I'm going to give you some insight as to what this is going to look like, how this works, where do they end up going, what type of leverage the FBI has, what type of leverage does the Mexican federal government have. We're going to really dive into it. You guys, I've had the privilege of working with the federal government on cases, not anything this major, right? But I have actually assisted the feds on cases before. And this is going to be very interesting because now we're talking about an international incident, right? This incident happened overseas in a sovereign nation, right? That has a somewhat good relationship with the United States, right? You guys, the United States and Mexico, they partner all the time. All the time, you guys. This is not uncommon where you have either a Mexican national, they come to the US and they commit a crime or they commit a crime in Mexico, then they go to the US, they get captured and get sent back to Mexico, or vice versa. We've seen this plenty of times. We had a case here in my old department where a coworker actually killed his wife and then fled out the country. And I want to say he went to Mexico. And well, this was in the sheriff's department. He went to Mexico. You guys, and they went and picked him up. He was in Mexico or Cuba. I can't remember off the top of my head. I want to say it's Mexico because he spoke Spanish. He was black, but I think he knew a little Spanish. So this is not uncommon where someone commits a crime like murder and then they leave and flee to another country. They do it all the time. It was Belize. Dre always be on it. Belize. Sorry. So it wasn't Mexico, but it was a lot further away. And what they do, they still went down there and picked them up, right? They still went and picked them up. So shout out to Dre. He always got the correct, the accurate intel. I knew he was somewhere. I thought it was Mexico. I couldn't remember, but it was Belize. He went to Belize and got picked up. You heard about a Two Braids Club? But so we're gonna talk about it, and we're gonna talk about what that investigation looks like. What role is the FBI gonna play in? Now, I'm gonna tell you how the FBI got involved, you guys. A lot of people don't know this, but the FBI really just can't jump in and get involved in stuff, right? They just can't just get involved in stuff. They have to be invited into the investigation, right? They have to be invited. And then after that, they have this thing called a provisional arrest warrant. A provisional arrest warrant. That's pretty much like saying, hey, we need this guy, or we need this gal. All right. We need to come pick them up. A provisional arrest warrant is what they use. Right. So let's talk about you guys. So this situation is very interesting. What do you have? Some people are saying, is this a situation where it was premeditated? Was this planned? We don't know. We don't know. Was this an accident? We don't know. Now, in my personal opinion, to be completely honest, I don't think they intended to kill her. I don't. But I believe that when they realized she died, they covered it up. That's a fact. That's 100% fact. That they intentionally covered it up. If this happened in the US, you guys, this would be considered manslaughter. If it was planned and orchestrated, this would be murder, right? Premeditated murder. So what happened? They go out together, right? They're down in Kabul, they're in another country. Nearly the next day, they get into, we don't know why this fight happened, but they get into this fight. Someone is saying that the girl that was fighting Miss Robinson was the ex-girlfriend of her ex-boyfriend. I don't know if that holds any weight. Apparently, there was something about a text message. Listen, we're not here for the gossip. You guys know my channel is not for gossiping. We're here to really get some intel, really talk about the case, really go in and dive deep into the situation, you guys. This is truly a murder mystery. Why? Because you got this kind of reminds me of what's that movie? That movie where it's they're on a train and someone gets killed and they're all trying to figure it out or whatever, and they have like this one smart guy there and he's trying to figure out who is the killer out of all the groups. It reminds me of that game we had growing up. Guess who? Can you guess who? It's a mystery. Can you guess who? Do you have a clue? Y'all remember that? You remember that? I'm an 80s baby, you guys. I'm an 80s baby. You remember that? Can you guess who? It's a mystery. Anyways, this is what it is. It's the clue. What's the clue? The clue is everybody there knows what happened. And they all colluded together and told a story. You guys know, if you haven't seen about yeah, there you go. Clue. You guys saw How to Get Away with Murder. How to Get Away. Oriental Express is the movie. Man, y'all are on it. Y'all are on it. Oriental Express. If you haven't seen that, the movie is really good. It's really good. It's really good. If you've seen that show, How to Get Away with Murder, how did the whole series start off? A domestic issue between guy and girl, and he gets pushed down the steps, right? And what happens? He hits his head. They think he's dead. He wakes up, whatever. They try to finish him off. But this is how it happens, you guys. Sometimes you can have a situation where you have two people going at it and it's an accident. I've worked a case before where kids were fighting and one hit their head on the back of a sink in school, and that was it. Right? That was it. They're out of here, you guys. That's these things. It's these type of charges are like manslaughter. You didn't mean or intend to kill a person, but because of your actions, your reckless behavior, your reckless actions, you've caused this person to lose their life. You know, this is what we're looking at. I don't know if this was a setup. A lot of people are saying it is. We don't have any concrete evidence to support that. But what we do know is that one, she was killed, and we do know who did it. Right? They know who did it. The reality is they lied and tried to cover this up. So what happened? Because there was a lot of misinformation that was being put out. You had the father who came out and spoke live on a channel, on a YouTube channel. He was telling his story about what he heard or what was told to him, and then of course them getting the actual records from the medical records, and then all this stuff was different. Now listen, we're going to argue both sides. Was this a setup, or was this an unintentional accident? I'm explaining to you why it could be both, right? Let me explain why it could be one or the other. But one of the things I will say that's unique about the situation that makes it look more like a setup is that everybody was on the same page. Everybody kept with the same story. Everybody kept with the same story. That's the problem. Out of all of them that were there, no one decided to make a statement and say, hold on. Listen, you guys, I know you were fighting. At the end of the day, this was an accident. You know, it's not that serious. What do we have? We have six friends. Six friends. All know what happened. One of the guys, there's one out of the six who basically stated, hey, listen, I got in late. I got in town late. By the time I got there, she was already knocked out. Apparently, she was already killed or assaulted before he got there. Well, they went on social media, the people who were there, the other six, and were like, nah, you're lying. You were there the entire time. You guys, they all gathered together to create a lie. What happened after the assault? Allegedly, there's a second girl named Winter, right? Dejanay was the one that you saw in the video fighting her, right? Beating her. And then you had this other girl named Winter. And what happened? Allegedly, there's a second fight. She got involved. She started scrapping with her. Allegedly, she grabbed her and slammed her down somehow. I don't know what type of technique. Someone's saying she was grabbed by the throat and she was slammed down to the ground. That's what they're saying. Somewhere, where did she get slammed? We don't know. How and what manner, we don't know. But the autopsy shows that she had either a snapped neck or a snapped spinal cord. I don't know the exact medical term they use to describe the actual injury, but in so many words, she broke a neck, broke her back, whatever they did to her. And then what they ended up doing, you guys, they actually picked her up from wherever she was at and put her in the bed. Put her in the bed and made it seem like she couldn't get up, that she was suffering from alcohol poisoning. They called for assistance. They sent a doctor that was in the villa, right, at the resort. A doctor showed up, looked at her, noticed that she was breathing, but she wasn't conscious, right, and was like, "Hey, we need to get her to the hospital." And her friends were like, "No, she needs to stay here." Right. And this is according to the report that was provided by the investigators in Mexico. 3 o'clock, the medical doctor got there, 3 p.m. By 3:15, approximately, they say 15 minutes later, she was out of here, you guys. Soul bond. She was gone, dead. Now, the friends said they called around 2:30, right? Doctor showed up, said, "Hey, we need to send her to the hospital." The friends were like, "Nah, leave her right here. She's good." Alcohol poisoning. In that moment, they were unable to really assess her physically. You guys, they moved her from where she was at, put her in a bed. Doctor shows up. Doctor's like, she's gone. Guess what the friends do? They packed their shit up, you guys. They packed up and then they went to another hotel near the airport and left the villa. Left the villa. Told her parents, told the mom that, of course, that she was, she suffered from alcohol poisoning. She was kind of not responsive, this, that, and the other. And then she died. Took her stuff, brought her stuff back, went to go see the mom, right? They sat next with her, consoled her, told her how hurt they were. The mom wasn't feeling it. The mom knew something was up, you guys. And what did she do? She went and contacted the authorities in Mexico. Then she actually got the actual report from the medical examiner. And then she sees, she's reading about the damage to her face, the swelling in her face, her mouth, the swelling in her mouth, the snapped neck, the snapped back. Yo, she's like, hold on, this doesn't sound right. This doesn't sound accurate. This is not what you guys told me. Right? Then she said after she got the medical records, right, from the medical examiner in Mexico, she didn't hear from nobody. She heard from nobody after that. All her so-called friends. 6 of them. And then you guys, guess what? She goes and reports it to the police. She has people who know about the situation started sending her information. Because what happened, you guys, these clowns, which I'm glad they did this, but this is the era that we're in now, where now we put everything on social media. I talk about it all the time on this channel. All the cases that I review, you guys, a lot of these cases, these big high profile cases, we talk about how a lot of these criminals film their actual acts of crime on social media all the time. This is the new era that we are in, where criminals are self-snitching. The one I did the other day in reference to Miko Worldwide and the guys who robbed him and bragged about taking his chain, taking his gun, and robbing him in a house. They made a whole social media post about premeditated armed robbery. And you know what they did? Then they went around and said, "Hey, listen, I'll sell you the video of us robbing him. How much money you want?" You guys, this is the mindset now. Why do I say that? Because Dejanay, right, the girl who took her wig off and started assaulting Shanquella Robinson. You know what she did? You guys, you won't believe this. She went to Instagram. She went to Instagram, and let me show you what she posted. This is sick. This is sick, but this just goes to show you the people that we're dealing with. Dejanay Jackson. Some people said that she might be not a lady. I don't know. I don't know. This is just what there's been so much, you guys, surrounding this, circulating this thing. But after the incident happened, everybody's at home, right? Everybody's at home. Um, people are talking about Twitter. They call it Black Twitter. I don't know why, but basically, Twitter played a major role in actually pushing this story mainstream. Mainstream. Yeah, this is her real account. Pushing this story mainstream and getting the attention that it needed to get. And because of that, it really, really brought this to the national stage. Rightfully so. Rightfully so. So here's the thing. Dejanay goes on social media and she makes a post. And she's like, "Listen, you guys don't know what you're talking about. Let me tell you my side of the story." She says, "Look, here's the thing. Y'all all are coming for me and don't know what happened. The reason why I'm putting my Cash App down is because people wanted the scoop on what happened. I'm not gonna just offer that information up. And I'm not what they say I am." You guys, she put her Cash App up and said, "Listen, if you want to know what really happened, you got to pay me." All right. What did Gail say? Shout out to Gail. Gail says she has a LinkedIn account with current work history. She hasn't reported to work. See, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if they try to flee. But I assure you, and we're going to talk about it tonight, that the feds they've been watching them before they got involved. They've already been watching them. They've already been watching them. So what does this look like? What does this look like? The feds have now joined in on this investigation. What are they going to be doing? One, they're going to be monitoring. They're going to be monitoring. And not only they're going to be monitoring, they're going to make sure that they seize and get access to accounts, bank accounts, social media accounts, cell phone records, the whole 9 yards. I guarantee you someone has already been talking and providing information. Who speaks first speaks last. Who speaks first speaks last. What does that mean? You guys, if you sing first, you get the best deal. You get the best deal. Oh, the FBI know exactly where they're at. Half past fast says, so do you think the FBI knows their current location? That hints why they haven't picked them up yet until they have taken the next steps. Oh, the feds know exactly where they are. The feds know exactly. You guys don't know the technology that the federal government has at their disposal. We have made it so easy for them. We have made it so easy for them, you guys. I can't stress it enough. A lot of things I told myself, even as a retired law enforcement, a lot of things I won't share. But I will tell you this: things I'll share things that are already out there. You may not really know about it, but if it's public knowledge, I'll talk about it. You guys, the facial recognition software that we use, and a lot of you guys volunteer all that information already. We have access to your fingerprints that you put on your phone, your face that you've used on apps, the face from your driver's license photos. You guys, there's nowhere. You wonder how some of these cases sound so crazy and you don't know how people have been captured. Hey, how'd they find them? How they, man, you'll be surprised. You'd be surprised. They are watching everything, everything. They're always watching, even when they're not supposed to be. Even when you didn't give them permission to, they're watching. They're absolutely watching. Shout out to you, Miss Lois Lane. Hello, hello. Member of the channel. Thank you so much for the super chat. That's $20 super chat. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. You guys, it feels good to be back. All this drama over the last couple weeks, from shootings, mass shootings. You guys, there's just so much to talk about. It's just been so depressing in the media lately. So depressing. And then this happened, you know. Then this happened. Um, very, very, very disturbing. I wonder, people don't recognize or realize the technology, how much information. You guys, you download stuff you never read. You never read. You know, I've had cases where we've had someone who was being assaulted in progress, and they call from a phone, and they're like, "Oh, we're being hurt. Someone shot me, blah blah blah." You guys, in that moment, I get authorization to go right through that phone and GPS track you within a matter of seconds. Yep. You know, it's one of those things where it's a gift and a curse, in a sense, where you want to trust the government to have access to do what they're supposed to do properly, legally. Unfortunately, that's the problem, the balance between how much freedom do we give away in relation to our protection, right? They are already being watched and being monitored. Someone is already cooperating and giving information to the feds. I assure you. And the person who's given the most information is the person who's the most least involved, the farthest removed, who knows, listen, I can get arrested for this, but I didn't start it. I had nothing to do with it, you guys. It was six people there. Six people there. And what is going to get them all in trouble with this case right here? What connects them all together? What makes them all culpable is the lie that they told. Is the lie that they told and continue to facilitate towards. The moment they lied and passed that information to the government, it's game over. The moment they write that lie down on a piece of paper, it's game over. They never had to touch her, hit her, assault her. Didn't have to be the person to give the final blow. It doesn't matter. The moment you cooperate with the lie, you are 100% culpable. Absolutely. And you didn't necessarily have to deliver the final blow or cause, or whatever you did didn't cause a death, but you helped cover it up. You can still get hit with the charge. Now, let me say this caveat. I don't know how they maneuver their charges in Mexico, because this happened in Mexico. But here in the US, how it would take place, you are an accessory to the crime. Even though your gun, your knife, your hand, your car, whatever, did not actually cause a death, you help cover it up, you're just as guilty. Just as guilty. Someone asked earlier, thank you so much, Miss Lane. Thank you so much. Shout out to Victoria. Thank you so much for the $20 super chat. Said, welcome back. Glad to hear your take on it. Thank you so much. It's good to be back. Definitely had a little stumbling block, the system tech issues, and then of course really just taking in all of the stuff. Again, like I was telling you guys earlier, this all started with the passing of Takeoff. You guys, I was really disappointed. As you know, he's a Georgia artist along with the Migos, and I haven't told anybody this. I had an opportunity to meet them before they became famous. They used to perform in the local area. And I always thought they were talented. They just had a unique sound. It was very different at the time. But man, the senseless killing, the mass shootings over lately, the shootings at the club, shootings at the grocery store. I just don't get it, man. It's kids being killed. It's like the same thing over. It's so much stuff to talk about, and I don't know. It's draining. So shout out to you, Victoria. Thank you so much for this super chat. Thank you so much. I want to know. A lot of people don't understand this part. If another country that has a relationship with the US is saying, "Hey, we've investigated this and we found reasons to basically bring them in and charge them," guess what? The US is going to assist them in rounding up the suspects and sending them back to Mexico. What should it look like? It should look like they should do their charges and crimes in Mexico. They'll stand trial and have to go to Mexico. Now, the thing is, they handle things differently there. um, when this incident first happened, I was a little concerned because the person who was killed was not a Mexican citizen, right? So I was like, I wonder if they're going to really take this serious, if they're going to really put a lot of effort into it. A lot of people get killed in Mexico all the time. And so things can be a little different. Things are different out there. So another thing, when people are traveling, you have to be mindful when you're going to other countries. You're not in America, you guys. You might think things work the same way. I tell people all the time, you go to another country, you'll be surprised, right? Nobody cares you're an American. You know, they don't see black, they don't see white, they don't see Mexican, Hispanic, Asian. They see, oh, you're an American. Listen, 1 year in Mexican in jail in Mexico is a is equivalent to 4 years in the US. Yep. 1 year in jail in Mexico is equivalent to like 4 years in the US jail. You guys, there's nothing nice about it. Nothing nice about it. They would be grateful if the US, in which I doubt they'll do this, will allow them to do their time in the US. I think the ultimate punishment is ensuring that they serve time in Mexico. You guys, there's no doubt in my mind that she died by the hands of her friend, and that the friends actually covered it up. That's what this whole thing is about. It's all a cover up. LA Wilkes, Thin Black Line. He says 17 years of this job, and I'm still amazed how people can't help but record their crime. Shout out to you, brother, and thank you for your service. You're absolutely correct. How many of these crimes have we investigated where there's a post, there's a video recording, someone has it on social media? I mean, hell, you look at the thing with Takeoff. They're recording the incident, the shooting, all this stuff becomes it's just become part of the culture now, right? Becomes part of the culture. The first thing you do when you see somebody in distress, you see someone being assaulted, you see someone having a bad experience, people take their cell phones out and start recording. My incident when I was fighting a guy and he was, trying to get my gun and everything, people around me were recording instead of helping, right? Like, this is the era that we're in now. Everything is for social media. So they're filming, this is a world star moment. The guy is filming her, and this is allegedly supposed to be her so-called friend. And she's getting assaulted, and he's sitting there watching it. Some people say this was planned. Whether this was planned or not, the reality is, what do we know for sure? That they covered it up. What is the FBI going to do? They're going to assist in this investigation. They will essentially, once they get the green light that, hey, here's another thing they might do. They might pull them all, right? They might round them all up and have the Mexican government come up here, the agents or the investigators come up here and actually interview them here on American soil, or they send them back down to Mexico to be interviewed. That's a possibility. They're going to assist, and I assure you 100%. I assure you 100%. When it's time to extradite, they are getting up out of here. The U.S. government will send them to Mexico. You guys, why? Because that's the relationship that we have with the Mexican government. We do it all the time. You guys probably didn't hear about this, but recently we had a case where a man killed his wife in California, and then he fled to Mexico. Well, guess what? The U.S. is like, hey, we're looking for him. He's in Mexico. Mexico was like, okay, cool, come on down here. I know where he's at. And they give you what? They give you that provisional arrest warrant. Provisional, meaning, hey, listen, in the meantime, it's not a traditional warrant, but we're allowing you to come arrest our citizen. Come down here, come get him. Get him and brought him back to the U.S. to stand trial for the murder. You guys, we do it all the time. We do it all the time. You probably haven't even noticed this, that there are inmates on airplanes. For those who like to fly Spirit Airlines, right? You probably don't know this, but we transport criminals through normal airlines all the time. They're first to get on the plane. You never see them. They're handcuffed and they're sitting right next to a U.S. Marshal. Yep, all the time. You guys, and you never notice it. They're the first to get on the plane and they're the last to get off. Yep. And they travel, they're handcuffed, you just can't see it all the time. You know, what does this investigation look like? Are they being followed? Absolutely. More than likely, they have an agent on each individual person as we speak. Now, there's no secret. There's nothing they can do about it. Why? You guys are not intelligent enough, right? These aren't the wisest criminals. They're not. And the reason why they're still walking around free is because the investigation hasn't concluded. They need the green light. The feds need the green light. But the feds are always going to take a step above. Why? Because they're going to make sure when it's time to pick them up, they're going to pick them up. And there won't be any issues behind it. Shout out to you. Shout out to you, Danita. How are you? How are you, my dear? Welcome, everybody. Welcome in. Welcome in. For those who are just getting in, please hit the like button. Please hit the like button. We are talking about what this investigation is going to look like, the involvement of the feds, what role they're going to play in this. You guys, their job right now is to pull as much information. There's a good chance they're tapping phone lines. Absolutely. Monitoring conversation, monitoring internet traffic. What do they already do, you guys? They pulled all social media. Everything you put out on social media is a done deal. Is a done deal. Everything you put on social media is a done deal. I've watched investigators bring a phone and a computer back to life. Back to life. I had a friend of mine. He worked with child pornography investigations, and children's sexual assault. He worked in that unit. And these guys, you deal with these pedophiles all the time. Damn, I shouldn't have said that word. You deal with these sick, twisted individuals. They anytime they're about to get caught, they try to destroy their computer. Right? Now they got specialists that'll rebuild your computer, rebuild your hard drive, and snatch all that poison off of there and prosecute you right behind that stuff you put on the computer. Every keystroke, they got it. Every phone call, they got it. They know exactly where they are. They know who all their family members are, you guys. They know everything. They have it at their fingertips. You guys don't know how much information. I had access to so much information, and I was at the bottom of the totem pole. The bottom. So I can only imagine. I've only seen the feds use a couple things, and I was like, God damn. You guys, here in the city of Atlanta, it's starting to look a lot like Europe, London. They have cameras everywhere, everywhere. You guys, before I retire, we end up solving a case off of cameras. How did they find, for those who remember the Rayshard Brooks situation and what happened when they burned down that Wendy's? You guys remember that? They found and arrested everybody involved in that. How, you guys? The cameras, man. The cameras. For those who were with me from the beginning, I did a video on Kyle Rittenhouse. Kyle Rittenhouse. During the protest and the riot in the city where Kyle Rittenhouse was running around with his rifle, right? And everything went bad. Guess what? The FBI was already there. They were already there. They didn't tell nobody until shit got bad, and they were like, "All right, we got video of the situation." Right? They had to what they had to expose themselves in order to deal with this particular case. The FBI was already there. They were filming the entire situation. Why? They had drones in the air scanning people's faces, you guys. And these clowns, these 6 clowns are going to evade one of the most sophisticated law enforcement groups in the nation, damn near next to the CIA? Absolutely not. Absolutely not, you guys. They're done. They're done. The best thing they can do for themselves, honestly, is just cooperate. The best thing they can do right now is turn themselves in. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Someone just dropped some knowledge. What I say? Look, hey Nathan, as of 12 minutes ago, Mexican authorities just issued arrest warrants. It's on the shade room. Hey, listen, you guys. What I say? Guess what the FBI is gonna do? They're gonna be given the green light and look, and I assure you, watch how fast everybody gets picked up. Watch how fast everybody, it's in their best interest to turn themselves in. They're all getting charged. They're all getting charged. Listen, you guys, we're going to the shade room. Let's everybody to the shade room. All right, let's take a look. Let's see arrest warrants. We're gonna check in real time. Arrest warrants for okay. How should we do this? Mexico arrest warrants for Robinson. How many of you guys think that this was a setup? Anybody? How many people think this was an accident? Matter of fact, let me do a quick little when I'm gonna look at this stuff real quick. I'm gonna do a quick poll in the chat. I'm really curious to know what you guys think. And then I'm gonna call you guys up to have the conversation because I really, really want to know. Um, I really want to know your thoughts on this. Really want to know your thoughts on this. Someone said setup. All right. Let me drop the poll. Let me see. Uh, am I doing this right? I feel like everything changed. I've been off this thing for participants, pop-up chat, toggle timestamp, send feedback. I feel like I'm doing something wrong. It's not giving me the option to poll. Can you still poll on here? Who's done a poll? Gail, have you done a poll on here in a while? I feel like it's not giving me the option to, unless I'm doing something wrong. I might be doing something wrong, knowing me. Let me try. Let me try this real quick. Hey, hold on. Let me see this. Dre, can you find that information? If you're free, Dre, I'm curious to know if in the meantime, let me see if I can make a poll. Send feedback, manage pop-up chats. I don't see it on here. Damn. So support, add action. Oh no, I found it. I found it. I lied. I found it, guys. I found it. So someone said did they jump her or was it only one on? It sounded like they jumped her. It sounded like initially it started as a one. It was a one-on-one type of thing, and then another girl got involved. Allegedly, this has I don't know what caused it. To be honest, I don't know. There's too many rumors to even speculate. New info that this was blackmail situation. I just heard on the news. Okay, all right. We're gonna pull the news up then. We're gonna pull the news up. Well, shoot, ain't no sense doing a poll then if we think it's blackmail. Let's see. Let's see what we find it. What news did you find that on? What news did you find that on, Danita? I like y'all. Y'all are my little investigators. Let me see. Mm, Quilla. Mm, what news was it on? Let's see. Let's see what we can find out. And this was as of four. This is as of 4 hours ago. Should we go to the shade room? Yeah, it was planned. Hey, Nathan, that's my friend over there. Lonnie Clark says it was planned. Hey Nathan, that was my friend over the what? Over the what, Lonnie? WSO WSOC TV. Let me see. All right, WSOC TV. Oh, okay. Here we go. Here we go. Let's go ahead and pull this up real quick. Uh, Genesis says Shade Room is a new CNN. That's true. It's a damn shame. So let's see what they're talking about on here. Let me go ahead and pull this up, and then let's go ahead and zoom in, see what they're talking about. It says arrest warrant issued for friend of Shanquella Robinson, Mexican prosecutor said. All right. An arrest warrant was issued in the death of Shanquella Robinson, a Charlotte woman killed while on vacation, according to the Mexican prosecutor, and confirmed by ABC News. Daniel De La Rosa Anaya, a prosecutor for the state of Baja California, Sur told ABC, a friend of Robinson's, who is a direct aggressor, is being sought out by international authorities on charges of femicide. Oh, it's interesting to charge them with femicide. That's different. That's different that they call it femicide. This case is fully clarified. We even have a court order. There's an arrest warrant issued for the crime of femicide to the determinant of the victim and against an alleged perpetrator, a friend of her who is the direct aggressor. Del Rosa Anaya told ABC News, actually, it wasn't a quarrel, but instead a direct aggression. All right. We are carrying out all the pertinent procedures such as Interpol alert. Ooh, Interpol. You guys, some of y'all think that name was a joke. Interpol's a real thing, right? This is the international police. Interpol alert and the request for extradition to the United States of America. It's about two Americans, the victim and the culprit. Wow. Wow. They didn't say who the primary aggressor is. Authorities have not identified who they are working to arrest at this time. I bet you it's that Winter girl. The Winter girl is the one they're saying is the one who actually grabbed her, slammed her on her neck. Now, what's the other issue? Let's see. Arrest warrants have been issued for the French Robinson, Danielle De Rosa, and a prosecutor for the state of Baja California. Okay, so we read that. Michelle Letary, an expert on femicide in Mexico, said when a woman is killed in the country, authorities are often required to open the investigation as a femicide. From there, they look into whether or not she was killed for reasons due to her gender or for their specific circumstances, such as domestic violence. So let me touch on that real quick because I was actually surprised that they talked about femicide. Um, they didn't say who the warrants are for. Maybe they don't want to spook her, but I assure you guys, the feds already have a watch on them. And what's going to happen by tomorrow morning, you more than likely you'll hear by the end of day tomorrow that she's going to be arrested. And I assure you, the person who's going to be arrested, you guys, is going to be Winter, the girl Winter Wonderland. She's going to be up out of here. As I continue to read this, though, let's talk about femicide. A lot of times, a free trip back to Mexico for sure. A lot of times, femicide is actually, and I don't know how Mexico looks at it, but and I should have double checked, but femicide is the idea of killing a woman, the death. I don't want to say this. The killing of a woman because you hate women, right? Femicide. That's that's the definition of it, but I think it's been altered and changed over time. But the true definition of woman is the killing of a woman because of her gender. That's called femicide. So there's been some talks. I've heard people bring up things in YouTube, the YouTube space, especially within the Black community, talking about women who've been killed by their intimate partners. and saying that it's a femicide as being a special case against women, that women are being killed because they are women, and that's not true, right? That's not accurate. So this was just murder. It wasn't that she didn't get killed because she was a woman. She got killed because uh, her friends are evil, wicked, right? And though this may have been an accident or this was intentional, we don't know. The reality is this is not a femicide. This is actually a homicide. And so I thought that was interesting that they said they called it original charges. They're investigating it as a femicide. I don't know why that is, but that was very interesting. But then she said after they rule out the fact that she was not killed simply because she was a woman, which alludes to me that there's probably an issue of women getting killed a lot in Mexico. For them to take every death of a woman as a femicide first, maybe women are being targeted in Mexico. So that could be a thing. And if that's a thing, ladies, you guys need to know this, right? You need to do your research before you travel to these countries. Are women being targeted in Mexico? Probably, yeah, right? Because you have like sex trafficking and things of that nature. So femicide seems like it's a primary investigation when a woman dies. That's a problem. That to me alerts that there's a lot more going on in Mexico than they actually allude to. So let's go back to the article real quick. So we know that a warrant has been issued, and what they're saying now is that they have to go through the proper channels in order to get the U.S. to cooperate in the apprehension on U.S. soil, and then the transfer. What did I say that was? A provisional arrest warrant. Once that provisional arrest warrant is signed and done and deal, guess what? The feds are knocking on doors and bringing people back. Now, it makes you wonder though, is that will Mexico charge the other friends involved for maybe lying, covering up evidence and things of that nature? I don't know. What can the US do about it? They can't do anything. They can't do anything to my knowledge about that because the crime happened in Mexico. So, what does it say here? ABC News told Robinson's mom on Wednesday evening that an arrest warrant had been issued in the case. What the mom say? Bless her soul, man. Her and the family, her dad, the mom, the family. Prayers out to them. This is ridiculous. So I feel so good. That's a good feeling. Salamandra Robinson said that that's what we have been waiting for someone to finally be held accountable and arrested. I just can't wait to see justice be served. So let's see. Um, for the most part, U.S. State Department and the FBI have also been involved investigating the case. Robinson's death has drawn national attention. Yeah, she does have a GoFundMe page. I did see that. So yeah, good information. Thank you so much for pointing that out in the midst of this. That a warrant has been signed. So officially, a warrant has been signed. They did not say for who. I'm gonna speculate and say it's the Winter Girl because that's what everyone has been alluding to. Even her father, right? Shanquella's father was like, "Nah, Winter was the one who delivered the final blow." So we know for a fact an arrest warrant has been issued. I'm gonna just say I'm sure it's for Winter, and I'm shocked. I'm curious to know how the Mexican government is going to finish investigating the collusion behind it as well. Um, and my thing is, all of them need to be extradited back to Mexico to be interviewed. In my personal opinion, I think the FBI. What do I think should happen? FBI should round everybody up, let the Mexican investigators, the investigators from Mexico, come over here to the U.S., do their interrogation while they're being detained. Um, Matter of fact, nah, round them up, send all their asses to Mexico, send them all to Mexico. Let them. You listen. You buy the ticket, you get the whole ride. Send them all the way back. Send them all of them back, and let them go through the entire. Let them go through the process how they do it in Mexico and feel that process. Because when that pressure is on you, there's a high likelihood you're going to be very transparent. When you're sitting around and you see what's going on, you're like, nah, this can't be the end of it. I don't know the ages of the other six, but I could care less. I care less to sit there and cover up this situation and try to cover it up. even if it was an accident, nah, man, it's despicable. It's disgusting. Very disgusting. It's sad. It's a reminder to all of us that, especially a lot of these young adults coming up, running out, running around, traveling all the time and things like that. Man, you got to know who you're with and be careful the company that you keep. I'm curious to know what you guys think, though. Let me drop the link real quick. I'm curious to know what you guys think since we have an update on this. A warrant has been issued. I believe it's for this Winter Right girl. If you don't know what she looks like, let me show you a picture real quick. It's not the best picture, but let me give you what I got. This is the Winter girl. Winter, and tell her winter is coming, right? Winter's coming, winter. Winter's coming. And I ain't know where you can hide. Feds already got you, boo. They already got you. They're probably already at your door right now. Watch your back, winter. It's gonna be real hot where you going, sis. And listen, I don't know what the whole thing was about. I think as the week goes on, we'll definitely learn more about that. But just to be completely honest, you guys, at the end of the day, there's no excuse for it. All this. Joseph, what you drinking? Like, yeah, I'm not stay with that apple juice. Not stay with that apple juice. I'm running low too on my this is this is interesting. This is interesting. Um, do you guys think that everybody should be arrested or the person who actually physically caused her death? Let's drop that poll in here. Let's start the poll real quick. Um, should should all friends be prosecuted? I'll say be arrested, or just we'll call a killer the killer. Should all friends be arrested, or just the killer? There we go. Drop that poll in the chat, you guys. Listen, if you're in here, just getting here, please hit the like button. Please hit the like button, you guys. I really, really appreciate it. I'm just jumping back into the game. I've been gone for like 2 weeks and some change. My computer died on me, you guys. So it's good to be back. Once again, thank you so much for the support, you guys. I really, really appreciate you guys being here tonight. It's a very, very difficult conversation. Please, prayers and support go out to the family. As you know, they lost their daughter, 25 years old, going out on a trip, allegedly with some friends. And the friends watch her get assaulted by another, ultimately ends up getting killed, whether by accident or intentional, doesn't matter. But they all participated. They were all in cahoots in covering this up. You guys, me personally, I believe every ass that was there needs to be back in Mexico, being charged. Being charged. You know, And listen, you guys, this stuff happens all the time. This happens all the time. I think what's different about this is that, this is in another country. This the reaction and the response has been, once the attention got out there, has been very swift, you know, been very swift. And so this is my thing is that, I'm glad that we're seeing the momentum. Why is the Mexican government working hard to solve this case, you guys? You guys, this is completely horrible for business, right? Where you guys see this justice being served, other people say, no, this is about money, you guys. Let's not get it twisted. And no disrespect to her passing, no disrespect to that at all. But you guys have to remember, when these things like this happen, guess who's not going to Cabo on girls trip next spring? I guarantee you the numbers are going to be down. And even though this had nothing to do with Mexico as a whole, people are just going to be like, I don't know if I want to go to Cabo. I don't know if I want to go to Cabo. What should they have done differently? If a doctor was on scene and the doctor's looking, saying, hey, the doctor should have been able to override whatever anybody had to say. If you're looking at a patient and you see that patient needs to be treated medically at a medical facility, the doctor should have went on and took her over there. You know, Should have took her over there. Listening to these clowns in the villa talking about some nah, leave her here, treat her here. Like what? This we're not in the damn jungle. Like she obviously needed medical attention. They should have overrided that. Unfortunately, Mexico is not the U.S. You guys, if this was the U.S., they would have sued the hell out of that resort, that hotel, or wherever. They would have sued them. Yeah, perfect. Watch this. And Mills, exactly. She says, I'm not wanting to go to Mexico after this. Bad publicity, you guys. Bad publicity. No one is gonna want to go. I didn't want to go after after they had that cartel issue in Cabo, you guys, I was like, I'm not going to Cabo ever. It's just not worth it. Look it up. There were tourists being killed on the on at the hotel, at the beach, because of the rival between two cartel gangs. Man, it's like, nah. So Mexico's looking at this as like, this is bad for business. You're going to kill our tourism. We have to solve this and hold these people accountable. You know, if they don't charge someone behind this incident, guess what people are not going to do? They're not going to go to Mexico. Why? Because they're going to feel like they're not going to be protected. If something happens to me, something happens to my loved one in Mexico, and you know who it is, and y'all don't even press charges, nah, why are we going to go? You're not going to get no justice when you go to Mexico. They can't afford to have that stain on their country, you guys. They can't afford it. Absolutely cannot afford it. Shout out to Trash Can Waves. He said, too many people trying to get out of Mexico for me to want to go. Facts. Facts. You can't relax. Oh my God. Gail said the Airbnb charge a penalty for the cleaning fee, being that they not only had to clean up the place, but they had to remove her body. Oh my gosh. That is, this is so tragic. It's so disgusting, you guys. But I hate to say this, man, and not to be a bearer of bad news. I'm gonna drop the link for anybody who wants to come up, anybody who has something they want to add to this. Um, I'll definitely let you come up. Gail, I dropped the link in here for you guys. One of the things that concerns me is that a lot of people don't realize this stuff happens all the time. There have been cases where married couples have gone on the cruise and the husband plotted to delete the wife, by pushing her over the edge on a cruise. People going out of country and getting rid of people. You guys, this happens all the time. I got the link dropped, chaotic. This happens all the time. All the time, you guys. All the time. You know. I'm curious to know what you guys think. What are your thoughts, you guys? What are your thoughts? Yeah, chaotic. I just dropped it. I don't know why. What's wrong with my it won't let me at people on here. I feel like I did something wrong when I put this stream together. Oh, there we go. Gail got it. Gail got it. I'm bringing you guys up. I want to get your thoughts. Lady J, what's your thoughts on this?
Hi, thank you for having me. Um, I'm dialing in from the UK.
Oh, sweet. Welcome,
Well,
welcome.
thank
Chip,
you.
chip. Yeah.
Well, I just want to say I watched the fight scene only because just listening to everything, I wanted to see if it looked like what I had experienced from the hands of a childhood friend who
Mm,
I thought was my friend. And we're talking about we were grown women with children,
mm,
and I left Canada to come back home. So I stayed with her because she was my longtime friend, like a sister. And I can tell you this, just like the poor young lady, she did not fight back, and
right.
neither did I, because it was just so vicious of an attack. I basically laid on the ground and said, "Do your worst."
Mm,
And, just seeing the viciousness of that attack, it was all about envy, because no one can get that angry
Right.
to want to fight you like that.
Right.
And especially being abroad, in another country, why would you want to fight someone else like that if you did not have absolute pure hatred in your heart for that person?
Yep.
And
Yep.
all I can say is all of them are responsible
I
because
agree.
you're sitting there watching the viciousness and you're talking about fight back. How about you, as a man, get
Yep.
your ass up and break it up?
Exactly. Exactly.
And whoever else was in that room. And that woman there that gave the last blow, I think that I don't want to pronounce her name wrong. Um,
What, Dejanay or Winter something?
no, the poor
Oh, Miss Robinson.
Miss Robinson, yes.
Hmm.
I believe that when that first girl attacked her and she flung her to the ground and she landed on the ground with her legs kind of spread open and her head was down, I think damage was already done to her neck and
Mm,
her
that's
spine.
true.
She did not move. She was just hung over.
Right. That's true. That's true. She could have been paralyzed in that moment.
Yes.
Yeah, she could
Yeah.
have been paralyzed in that moment. That's true. I didn't even think of that. I didn't think of that. And I think because people kept saying the second video where the girl grabbed her by the neck and then slammed her on the ground. But you're absolutely right. It doesn't. Here's the thing, when you're not in a defensive position and you're not trying to defend yourself, her body was very um limp, when she was thrown. And so if you're relaxed and you're being thrown around, your body's open for uh damage because you're not resisting. It's the resistance that you provide that in so many ways can protect your body. But you're absolutely correct. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to rewatch that video.
Yeah. And this is the thing,
Mm,
when my frenemy had attacked me, you know, it literally felt like, and this happened in front of her house. It literally felt like I was down a dark alley trying to fight a man off of me. That's what
mm,
it felt like. And that's why I just laid on the floor and just said, do your worst. So I was already stretched out. But even so, I still had to wear a neck brace
wow.
for 2 weeks. And so, just seeing this situation, it really did pain my heart because, we put our trust in people. We think we're safe around them when in fact we're not at all.
Correct.
And
Correct.
now, and now society has come to a place where we're now all in these little separate boxes and can't come together because we don't know what the hell could happen to us, going to
Right.
someone's house or inviting them into our own home. It's like all hell is broken loose where now there's just no trust.
Nope. Nope.
Because
And
for me, sorry to cut you, but for
mm-mm.
me, after that attack, you know, I was just in this mindset where I was angry. I was also like, I just went into myself
Hmm.
where I remember running into her son, and he would have only been about 13 at the time. And he was coming up to me, and I just went into this fear and put my hands out and was like, get away, get, don't come near me. Like I was that fearful,
Right.
So it's just a sad state of affairs. And, for her mother,
I know.
I can't imagine how she must feel. I can't imagine it.
Yeah, her father, her and him, I've heard them both speak, and I was listening to her father today, and one of the things he said is that he's not that's his only child, and he's not going to be a grandfather, and how they've robbed her from me, and that just really broke my heart, and we've gotten so careless with life. You know what
Yeah,
I mean? And there's so much hatred going around in this world
yeah.
today. And it's very disappointing. It's very disappointing. But listen, Lady J, thank you so much. I have some more people coming behind you and
Thank
want to
you.
yeah, listen, anytime, I really, really appreciate you coming up and especially coming all the way from the other side. I always love when you guys show up and just and come up on the channel, So thank you so much for being a watcher and a viewer and a
You're
subscriber. I really appreciate it.
you're welcome, and thank you for covering this story, because I really think that we all need to think and
Absolutely.
just watch our actions.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay, thank
100%.
you.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank
Have a good
you.
night. All right.
You too. Bye bye.
Bye. All right, all right. Chaotic, I'm gonna bring you up, Dub Wheel. And then Dre, I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you, Dre. I see you, brother. Yo, Chaotic, what's good?
What's going on, man? How you doing, sir?
Hey man, good, 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 brother. Listen, let me give the formalities. Gail, if you could drop Chaotic Truths channel for us, you guys, please check him out. Great content, hilarious. This guy right here will make you laugh. Very entertaining, but solid content.
Absolutely.
Always talking about some quality stuff over there, man. I appreciate your channel, brother. So what you got for this? I know you got an interesting perspective on this one.
I do, but before I give my perspective, sir, what words can't I use?
Be free, brother. Be free. This is
Okay,
we don't
how
we
about
don't
this?
censor over here.
Okay, how about this? I'm just gonna use the N word because I love saying nigga.
All right.
I've been saying this. I'm 38, Nathan. I just turned 38 October 20th, a month ago.
Oh, that's what's
I've been
up.
I've been saying this for over 20 years. The last thing you want to do is be around some niggas,
Mm,
some unproductive niggas drinking, smoking, and doing nothing. Um, Mahatma Gandhi said this, and a lot of people in ancient times said this about the blacks. They said that the blacks typically, if they are not working, they're behaving like children. Now, I hate to say these things, Nathan, but it's the truth. I listen. A lot of people don't believe me, man, but I grew up around blacks. A lot of people
right.
don't believe me. And I know, man, when blacks become idle, they become destructive and they become violent. They
There's
argue about frivolous nonsense.
there's
Now,
truth
that
to that.
girl probably, and I don't know the story, but I would bet they were fighting over somebody slept with somebody's man. Nonsense.
Mm,
Chatty patty, gossiping nonsense about something dealing with sex or gossip.
right.
Nothing else. Instead of building, instead of being productive, they go to a foreign country. They go to a foreign country. And I saw the videos. They in there. Hey, bitch. Hey, bitch. Hey, man, the last thing, and I've said this, man, when women talk like that, that is the devil coming out of them. When they're drinking and acting a fool, havoc and chaos will ensue. And I have been around black women, especially in these types of friendships, and they will backstab each other in a heartbeat. They will fight each other in a heartbeat. And what it is that they are doing something that is not in order with God or with the universe.
Mm,
Those women should be trying to get married instead of drinking and running around Mexico like whores. You know, My mom wasn't like that. My aunts weren't like that. Nobody that I know is like that. But dressing half naked and using the bitch word and drinking, I'm not repeating myself, but that is a recipe for disaster. Um, it's unfortunate, man, but I've seen this. Dr. Neely Fuller's talked about this. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad has talked about this. And I'm telling you, man, black women need to embrace being conservative. They need to embrace being mothers and wives instead of prostitutes and whores. And that's what I saw down there.
Mm,
I saw a bunch of weak men around, and that's another thing too. Weak men following around women. It kind of, this nonsense. Yeah, girl. Yeah, you better put your hands up and fight. That's silly shit. A man should have stopped. Any man would stop that chaos from happening from the get go. But these men are effeminate now. They want gosh, they want chaos just as much as the women do. And I
yeah.
saw this, a lot of times growing up. And like I said, man, I've gone to places, and I don't do this now. I'm a man of a certain age now. But when I was younger, if I would go to a house and some black girls would be drinking, I'm walking the hell out. I ain't about to chill with these black girls because I already know what's gonna happen. Some chaos is gonna ensue. Um, and the fact is that that was a recipe for disaster from the get go. Those girls probably were jealous of that girl for some reason. I don't know the whole story. They were probably jealous of her. They probably were envious of her. She probably was more progressive out of the group. And you know how niggas are. They're crabs in a barrel, Nathan.
I
And
think
go ahead.
no. I was gonna say. I think from what I heard is you guys. Chaotic is chaotic.
Mm-hmm.
I will say this. We all know it's not all right. It is some. Unfortunately, there's a small faction within the black community that is problematic, right? And as we know, there's a problematic group in every single ethnic group, every single race, right? We all know that. Unfortunately, she was very, or say fortunately, she was very successful. I heard she was doing a lot of positive things as far as she had her own business and she was very
Mm-hmm.
proactive.
Yeah.
And there's some rumors that there was some jealousy, right?
Mm.
That girl that initiated who was the primary aggressor initially, Dejanay, apparently, she's the ex-girlfriend of her ex-boyfriend. Someone said there was some type of text message that was sent from a guy and so forth and so on. So again, to your point, chaotic, like this thing that we see, and we just have to be honest. There are some women within our community, they'll tell you that they don't get along with other women.
Yeah.
They'll tell you, black women will tell you that they clash with other black women, and
Yep.
there's this resentment that sisters, black women have for one another, jealousy.
Mm-hmm.
It's something that men don't share, right? We don't, a lot of times men don't have that same type of, I guess you would say, we men are jealous differently, obviously, but men are more violent, right? Black men are more violent to one another.
Yeah.
But when it comes to the catty nature, when it comes to the doing things behind each other's back, I think that is something that I've heard a lot.
Yeah.
Heard women say, but again, I know, we always have to preference that it's not all in our
Mm-hmm.
community, unfortunately. But one of the things that people keep saying in this particular case is that this was a group of so-called friends. And how did this group of so-called friends get put in a situation where one friends are watching another so-called friend being brutally assaulted? And again, like, these aren't your friends. And what we know when you have groups like this is people will pretend, deep down inside, there's this deep rooted jealousy. They'll set you up. They'll get you hit up,
Yeah.
get you robbed, and so forth and so on. So it's just, this whole thing
Yeah.
is, it's embarrassing.
Yeah.
It's not a good look, just for us as a whole. And again, it's always the black community's dirty laundry is always put out in mainstream, and
Yeah.
we know that other ethnic groups, their image is always protected, and so it's just not a good look. And
Yeah.
I really hate that it happened. It's just disappointing, man. It's disheartening.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I totally agree with you. And I don't want to ball hog the mic, man.
There you go.
And you said it so elegantly, man. But if anybody's young that is listening to this, and if you are a woman especially, wear a dress down to your ankles. Never use profanity. never drink, never. And I see a lot of this new shit now, Nathan. Black women want to smoke weed with black dudes now. Where the weed at? Y'all got some weed? The last thing you want to do is have a blunt in your mouth, young ladies. If you're like 17, 18, 19, you're listening to this,
Mhm.
man, listen to me. I know, man. I might come off like a. I beg your pardon, sir.
No, no, I'm laughing at the
Oh,
comments. Yeah.
I may come off like a troll, but I'm not. I'm telling you, that is a recipe for disaster. Your brain, first of all, a woman's brain is not as developed as a man's brain,
Oh
and
Lord.
a woman can't handle certain emotions. So a woman needs stability, and that stability is created by the patriarchy. You need to
Mm,
be in a kitchen somewhere cooking. You need to be around children, taking care of them. You cannot handle freedom.
mm,
That has never been the case. The only reason why you have a little freedom now is because of what men have done. But the last thing you want to do as a man, also, if any young man is listening, is to be sitting around with some dizzy, dumb females who are dressed half naked, drunk and high. You're putting yourself in grave danger. And what happened with Shanquella? I'm telling you, all those little dumb nigglets are going to be indicted for her death. You
yep.
know, and truth be told, they might be indicted in Mexico. And that's horrifying if you ask me. I don't know how it works legally. I'm pretty sure America won't give them up because they're back in the states now. But you have to be very careful. I'm not saying that I'm perfect, but I've experienced so much dealing with niggas that I know how I'm like the nigga whisperer. I know how to deal with Negroes, Nathan, and I'm
Right.
telling you, man, the
Whisper.
last thing you want to do is be around some unproductive, not doing nothing niggas. If a nigga ain't talking about building something of value, you walk away. Hey, what's up, man? You know, I'm just going through it. Oh, walk away from that nigga. Because if that, as soon as he says I'm going through it, he's gonna tell you about some gossip. He's gonna tell you some negative shit. He's gonna put you into his drama and beef and no, walk away. If a nigga ain't telling you about a stock pick, if he ain't telling you about a real estate choice, walk away. It's dangerous dealing with. I'm telling you, Nathan. You listen. We're the same age. Tell me you never heard old blacks say lazy, shiftless nigga. That must have came from somewhere, man. And I'm
I,
telling you,
I
listen,
think
we don't have the. Like I said, I'm sorry to cut you off, sir.
no, you good, brother. Yeah.
This is what my mom told me a long time ago. My mom
Hmm.
said this, and I never forget it. I had started drinking when I went to a very large state college, and you know I was
Hmm.
partying. You know I joined Alpha Phi Alpha fraternity. I'm just having a good time. She said, "Listen, you can drink beer, and those white boys can drink beer, but the difference is that if you mess up and they mess up, these white boys are protected. Their father's friends or lawyers that know the police chief that know this. A lot of times whites are connected. So they can F up. You can't really fuck up for real. And that's what I'm saying. We don't have the luxury as people to be drunk and high and fighting and this. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, there's a lot of truth to that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of truth to that. I was given that same speech that, we're not afforded the same luxuries. One would argue that, people call it today, they call it white privilege, right?
Mm-hmm.
And essentially, I'm not a fan of believing in white privilege. I don't think white people are any more privileged than anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say what I like to call it is instead of privilege, I say preference, white
Yeah.
preference maybe. But I don't believe in privilege. I don't believe in that at
Yeah.
all. But I think what happens, and then let me after this, I'm gonna roll you back. You want to come back
Absolutely.
up? I want to get through the
Absolutely. I'll
backbone,
wait.
but
Mhm.
I will say this. I was told that you can't, as a young man, as a young black boy growing up, no, I couldn't leave the house looking a certain way, couldn't
Exactly.
act a certain way. I was judged differently because of my skin. I'm well aware of that. And so, you have to work twice as hard to maintain your image, because what you do and what someone else does that doesn't look like you, they can get away with it. They're not
Exactly.
judged the same way. This is a fact. And it's still like this today in this country, right? And so we're well aware that black skin is looked at as one, a threat,
Yeah.
or sometimes that you're going to be more violent, that you're going to be more aggressive, or that you're dangerous. You put black skin in a hoodie at 10, 11 o'clock at night, people get uncomfortable.
Yeah, I'm
There's a
crossing the
reason.
street.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So there's a lot of truth to that. A lot of truth to that. But chaotic. I always appreciate you bringing. You always bringing the controversy to the conversation,
absolutely.
brother.
I'll wait in the back, man. Thank you so
All right,
much, man.
cool. And I'll throw you back up. Give me one
Yeah,
second.
absolutely.
Then Dub Will, and then Danita, I see you. I'm gonna drop you down, chaotic. Dub Will, what you got for us? And I'm gonna share. More says privilege or preference. What's the major difference? Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. We're gonna cover it. Dub Will, what's your thoughts, brother? What's your thoughts on this situation?
Hey, what's going on, Nathan? Good to talk to you again, as always.
Hey, man. Always, always.
Yeah. I think, chaotic. He is chaotic, but a lot of what he said, I agree with.
There's a
I
lot
want
of
to,
truth to it.
I want to put it the same way, but he's absolutely right. All them
Correct.
niggas, all them niggas need to go to jail.
Yes.
Every single one of them.
Right.
I don't believe they were trying to set her up to kill her, but I do believe they tried to set her up,
Okay.
and I think it went too far, obviously. And once it got that far, they panicked and didn't know what to do. Now, what they should have done is just called it in,
Yep.
but they left, and from what I hear, they left on her dime because she paid for the majority of the trip.
Yes.
So just off that, and then got back to the States, and then told her family conflicting stories, which were all lies.
Yep.
So the cover up itself, they're done.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion. So I don't really care about who actually caused her physical death. It's the same principle as if me and you are riding in the car, I go to the corner store, rob it, and kill the
Right.
clerk. We're both going to jail for murder.
True. The difference is we're talking about Mexico law, and I don't know anything about Mexico law. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
For them to only issue one arrest warrant, maybe that's only right now, right? But they didn't. I don't know if they interviewed anybody. Like I doubt they had a chance to interview anybody. They're going just off of what they believe the primary aggressor is. But if this was here in the U.S., all of them would be charged with accessory to murder, right?
Right.
Because they accessory, and then let me just try to run it off the top of my head. I don't have to get Dre up here, but accessory to murder, an accessory crime, or hold on, not accessory. I'm sorry, partner to a crime. So when you have a partner to a crime, there's a couple elements and caveats that are needed in order to actually satisfy that element. One of it is like you encouraged, you coerced, you participated, right? You have to fall under those categories. I'm thinking there might be one more in there. There's another variable in there. If you did that, you either helped out, you cooperated, participated, coerced, encouraged, or something to that effect. And then I think there might be another variable in there. I can't remember off the top of my head. But one could argue that them sitting there encouraging their fight, oh girl, you need to fight back, right? Dre says concealed. So then, oh yeah. All right. So Dre's right. So concealed. So now you have one where they try to cover it up. So you participated in trying to cover up the actual murder. Which, if this was an accident, which to me it came off as could have been an accident, right? Where they were fighting and then it got too far. You hit the person too hard. We have plenty of cases like that here in the U.S. where someone gets punched in the face, they fall back, hit their head, and then they die. It's like, hey, I didn't mean to kill him. Yeah, but you did. Your stupidity caused this person to die. And then there you have it, right? So that's one of those things where it gets it can get a little tricky. Hold on, someone just dropped off. What are your thoughts on that? Danita, you can come back up. I see you. I'm about to grab you real quick if you gotta run. But what are your thoughts on that? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, you and Dre would know better about the legalese part than I would. Part of me wants them to go to prison in Mexico because it's going to be harsh, a lot harsher in Mexico than it would be here. But another part of me wants them to stay here because, like you said, I don't know what the law is in Mexico. So it
Right.
might be to where they can escape. Only the people that actually put their hands on her will get punished, and the ones that were just in the room will escape. But I know over here they all going down.
Correct.
So it might be and then prison's not easy wherever you do it, but it might be an easier stay here, and that they might survive the prison bid, but they're all going to get held accountable because they all should get held accountable because they all participated.
Correct.
I mean, point blank,
Correct.
period. And I just want to say one more thing about this traveling abroad thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
I put in the chat earlier. I don't know if you saw it. Before this incident happened, like my my wife and my sister, they wanted to like plan this trip to go to Mexico, right? I was already off that because I had been reading earlier, and this is probably like earlier in the year, that these cartels would get on jet skis and ride up and down the beach and shoot at tourists on the beach. And there have
Yep.
been people that have been hit, there have been people that have been killed, and the Mexican authorities do little to nothing about it.
Yes. Yep.
So again, you want to travel, you want to see the world. I'm not saying you got to be a hermit in your house, but you need to understand when you leave the United States of America, we like to bash America, and there's plenty of stuff to bash America about because no nation is perfect. But when you are in the United States of America as an American citizen, you do have a certain level of protection
Yes.
that you do not have when you leave this jurisdiction.
Yep.
And the way America standing in the world is now, that kind of cloak that a lot of Americans feel they have, that's slowly fading away.
Yes.
I was on another panel early. Well, I was listening to another panel a couple of days ago, and someone made a really good point. The people in these other countries do not want us over there
That's very true.
because of the sometimes the arrogance we bring,
Yep.
sometimes the for lack of a
Entitlement.
better word, the entitlement, but sometimes our debaucherous ways.
Yes.
We like to take that to other nations that
Yes.
aren't on that kind of time. But
Yes.
they want the American dollar.
Yes.
But as America slowly declines, they're going to care less and less about that. So you go over there with that bull stuff, you're going to get treated accordingly.
Yes.
So this is a warning to anybody. It's like you need to be on your P's and Q's when you go to these other countries. It's not sweet everywhere you go. And just because
Facts.
you're on vacation and you want to let your hair down and have a good time, that might actually be time you need to be on your most on guard
Yep.
and treat those countries with
Respect, man.
respect. Probably sometimes more respect than you treat your home because they
Yes.
do not play. They do not care.
Man. Said it better than I could say it.
So
Said it.
that's all I got, bro. That's why.
Nah, man.
I mean, that's me. If I want to go on vacation, I'll just go to Florida. I mean, I don't. I'm saying I can. They respect the gun laws down there, and I know I can look up. I know it's basically the same as Georgia, so
Right.
I know how to move down there. But you go to some of these other countries, you don't know the customs, you don't know how they feel the feelings of the how they feel about America or Americans at the time. You might be putting yourself in a situation. Just saying.
True. True. Facts. Nah, man, I appreciate that, bro. And you're absolutely correct, man. I tell people all the time. Play around if you want to. And you leave this country, man. When I was in I'll tell you a story real quick. I was in Poland, and when I got off the plane, I was the only black person on the plane. And I got off the plane. I was country hopping in Europe. I got to Poland, beautiful country, beautiful people, the food amazing. Loved it there. When I got off the plane and they looked at me, everybody out there with their rifles, right? They had the military guard in the airport. They looked at me, and I'm the only brother, the only melanated skinned person on the plane. They pull me, of course, to the side to come and talk
Mm-hmm.
to, right? I get my passport gets pulled. Like, what is this? What is this brother doing way over here, right, in this
Exactly.
country? And they're asking me questions and stuff like that. And I had my mentor with me, and I was like, hey, he was like, hey, you didn't know this guy's famous? He's famous in America, dude. Their whole personality changed, right? So we're taking pictures and stuff like that. But when I get to customs, and we got to do the little thing when you talk to the guy at the window at immigration. He looked at me and said, "How long are you staying, and when are you leaving my country?" That's what he said. When are you leaving my country? I said, "Damn, bro." I said, I'll be here just for 5 days and I'll be gone. And he looked at me. So where are you staying at? Just rude. And I think to your point, just like I've heard from other countries, you hear this all the time from like guys, little passport bros talking about going all over. And they say how guys go over there, people go over, Americans go over there, and they just ruin it. They ruin it to the point where people don't want to or don't respect Americans when they come over. I've heard that in Japan when I was in Japan too. The military out there just ruined the relationship. And people don't respect the culture or the customs, man, and it leaves a bad taste in the locals, right? They just get turned off by it. So, but yeah, man, you're absolutely right, bro, man. I appreciate you, man. Good to see you. Good to talk to you again, man. It's been a minute.
Yeah, man.
All right.
See you around.
All right, man. Have a good one.
You too.
All right. Shout out to you, Gail. Thank you so much. Gail says, since the stream has been, yeah, this is gonna be demonetized by the time we get done. So Gail dropped a lifesaver on here for us. Thank you so much, Gail. You guys, Gail's the #1 moderator. She's super awesome. So Danita, you got to mute YouTube in the background. So Danita, there we go. There we go. Thank you so much, Gail. She is so amazing.
Oh. Okay.
Oh,
Hold
we looking at
Hold
you.
on.
You ready?
Okay. All right. Now, so do you have me up? Yeah, because I
I got
had
you
you
up.
on 2 phones. Yeah.
Oh,
This is the one I can listen on, the other one. This is the one I can talk on.
yeah.
I am so happy to talk to you and see you and be a member on your channel and everything. As I mentioned to you when I first started,
Yes,
I
ma'am.
moved to the DeKalb area, and
Mhm.
I've already myself been a victim of crime,
That's right.
and we said we would talk about that later. We will. But I just want to say, I want to make sure you can hear me, and I don't know if you can see me with the
Mhm.
lighting. But I agree with everything that the callers that previously called in had to say.
Yeah.
I was also looking at the chat, and there was some things said about some of what the callers were saying, like maybe
Mhm.
that it's minute and wasting time. That's one of the big problems we have. Now, I'm an older person, so I'm old school, okay? And I'm not maybe as old as you would think, but I was just always raised old fashioned, okay? And I'm older than. And respect is one thing. Because even though you may not agree with every the person's way of presenting it and all of their views, if we start to listen to each other,
Right.
that would help real well. Because what you need to do is listen. Old school. Throw away the bad, but not the baby with the bath water. Because listen, and you may pick up some good points out of what people are saying.
Correct.
So it might not be your style of talking or whatever like that, but it was a lot of gems in what everybody already was saying. Me myself, I want to get down to the criminality
Okay.
of this situation.
Let's do
Okay.
it.
Yeah, because the feelings and everything are there. I was following this from the beginning because, like the first lady said, it reminded of
Mhm.
some experiences, past and recent. And I think that also with what happened to this young lady, a lot of warnings
Yes.
and need to go out to women and people, period.
Yes.
Because this is not so much of a friend thing as it is a criminal thing. I've been
Yeah.
following it, and a couple of the young men involved already have records
Mm.
with the police. One already that was there when the filming in the camera and talking in the background.
Yeah. Yeah.
He in high school raped a young lady and it was
Wow.
recorded on tape. Yeah, and he somehow got away with that. So they have some criminal background. This young
Yeah.
lady, it was from everything that I could see from all kind of, and I put in there, it was Adonai Publishing that I just found out about the blackmail, but it was all kind of stuff. Before that, since I've been listening, that I was sure that that was involved. This crime is so heinous because I can't think of another word. and it definitely was planned. The young man that the family knew and went on trips with them and with the family and everything. Yeah, he went on trips with the family and everything, and then he brought the young ladies after they did the killing. He got there hours before anybody ever arrived in
Right.
Mexico.
That's right.
They all are involved. They
I
all
agree.
should be arrested. Now, maybe not all of them will get a murder charge, but
Hmm.
they all have some type of charge
Let me
involved in that whole situation.
let me ask you this though. If it's a situation where they all knew the girl got murdered, and then though they may not have committed the murder, but they participated in covering it up, do you believe they should all catch the murder charge? Because they essentially
No,
no?
no, no, I
Mm.
don't. I don't think it's gonna happen. Not the way the law works. I think
Right.
it's impossible. And if they put murder charge up for everybody, a lot of them will walk.
Mm. Well, mind you,
Yeah.
they're being charged in Mexico, not the U.S. And we don't
Still
we don't know how
Mexico.
We don't. I don't personally know how their laws work. You know what I
That
mean?
see,
So
I don't know how their
yeah,
laws work either. If it does work that way, it would be very good, but I'm not as knowledgeable
yeah.
of what the law is. But what I do know about Mexico is their prison system is not like ours. And I would
No,
like to see them over there. They're gonna have hard time.
they'll be all
Yeah,
right.
because in the US, mm-mm, they're gonna it's gonna be the US prison system, no matter how much people complain about it, it's
It's
so easy compared
yes,
to a Mexican prison.
yes,
You
or a
might not
Russian one.
eat, they don't have all of those luxuries. And so to me, I would like to see that. I'm glad that it's international, and I really would like to see them over there to Mexico so people can see
Yeah,
that when you commit crimes in other countries, that's similar to like that Brittany Griner thing. The
okay,
US is a whole different place than other countries because they just moved Brittany to a penal colony in Russia that's going to be a little bit harder of a time. So
right.
when you travel in these countries, and they purposely planned it for Mexico because they felt like they could easily get away with what they
That-
were
yeah,
doing. Now they didn't, from what I know, they did not plan to murder her. It was not, the murder was not planned. But she met them in college. She is the successful one
mm,
out of all of the people that she went to college with, their college friends. The family only knew the one that
the guy.
they posted them for 5 years. So
Yeah.
they all are from college. She, after she graduated, girl is so classy and got 3 businesses, caters to children, doing children's hair and traveling and stuff like that. And she is really up there with the money. She's into the millions and
Oh, really?
being successful. Yes, yes, becoming a
Oh,
millionaire. Just tipped over into the millionaire. So she
wow.
graduated with honors and everything like that. She met them in college, but that goes to show not everybody that goes to college is not there for the same thing.
Oh, of
Not
course.
only that, one of the young ladies, I think it was Dejanay, it was her birthday. You should see the pictures of this mansion resort that Miss Shanquella paid for the whole trip, expenses and everything for
Yeah.
all of her friends. Beautiful. And but they had the plot to get her over there, and because she was doing well financially, to blackmail her into giving them money. And then the proof that they were after money is once she was killed and everything, they took money, they cleaned out some of her accounts,
I did
and
hear
then
about
they went and partied afterwards.
that. Whew.
Now, her boyfriend was here in the US. He's
Yeah.
also got pictures. So everything they said was lies about the timing of the partying and everything. Because he's got pictures that Shanquella sent him while she was over there partying, having a good time. She had chef cater everything and stuff like that. So apparently, also again, it was some wise words that already been said. But
Mhm.
these people she met in college, so they were pretending to be friends, and they probably she was very kind-hearted person. So for her to take them on a total trip, everything paid by her, airplane, everything, and all of their accommodations or whatever like that.
Mm.
How do they be in college and them not be successful themselves? So they did not have the same strive. And like all the callers said, there was jealousy, there
Mm.
was the motive of money, there was the fact that she got close to one of them and he introduced her to the rest of them. And it's some gems in there about real warnings about criminals and
Absolutely.
how they operate. A
This is
lot of
very true.
times the criminals are people that that have
Absolutely.
gotten close to you, that you think are for you and are your friends. But they
Absolutely.
do show things that you get suspicious of. And a lot of times we do not want to, think bad about people and the worst in people, or we think that if we help people and, help try to bring them up with us and stuff like that. So I hope you dedicate a part of your show on this issue with Shank Killer. Because I also deal with a gentleman here in Atlanta called Aaron Mallory, and he put out warnings to women and people about how people will come up behind you and
Absolutely.
get women and traffic them and stuff like
Yes.
that. And I think a
Yes.
lot of warnings need to go out for signals of so-called friends.
I think people have gotten too comfortable walking the streets in this country thinking that life is sweet and it's not. A lot of people wind up missing. A lot of women and kids,
Hmm.
girls and boys, are missing in this country. It's
Hmm.
gone underreported. They don't
Hmm.
talk about it, and it's very, very. When you see the stuff and you see the numbers, it's very frightening.
Yes.
You have women who are being taken because they're being lured. They're getting drawn in, and we can't say the word
Hmm.
properly.
Hmm.
They're being
Yes.
drawn in from things like modeling opportunities,
Yes.
fashion opportunities. A lot of women are being
Mhm,
kidnapped that way and taken
mhm,
and trafficked from those things because this insatiable appetite that our culture has created in this country, the culture that's been created within the black community, that we want
mhm,
to be somebody, we want to be popular, we want to be famous, we want to be
mhm,
that it girl, that it guy.
mhm,
And you fall into that trap of desperation so easily, and a lot of times it's these things too. You see these postings put up on the highways, in certain areas. They'll say, "Hey, free
mhm,
modeling," or "We're paying you for this, paying you for that," and then you show up and then you're
mhm,
snatched up. And
mhm,
so we just got to be careful. They're using money as a way
mhm.
to entice kids. They're using TikTok and
Yes,
social media to
yes.
entice these kids and advertise them. So it's a
Mhm.
very, very, very dangerous game, and you got to
Yes.
stay vigilant. So you bring
Yeah.
up a very good point. I did hear something about money being taken out of her account. Because
Yes.
I wasn't able to verify that, I said, there was so much speculations going on around this. If that's the case, I'll just say this real quick, and I'm gonna bring up the rest of the guests in the back.
Mhm.
Um, and thank you, Trash Can Waves, to make it a Rico case. Yeah, could very much well
Yes.
if they could put
Yes,
it together
I think
properly.
so. I think
Um,
so, especially when you get somebody out of the country. They knew what they were doing when they asked her to give the birthday party and they
mhm.
wanted it out of the country. That's why right now they had a head start on everything. And when you go before somebody's mother and father with their luggage and all of that, And
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you saw all of that, but they when they got back, the
Yeah,
young man actually went with the two young ladies with her luggage. That's why it's heinous and it's planned.
yeah,
And
it
then
could
the
very much.
time she was left over in the hotel,
Mm-hmm.
before in the family, really, the reason I got so interested in this one drew me in is because I first heard of it on all of the national news, ABC, NBC, everything. It was the FBI in Charlotte, North Carolina, and I used to live there with my ex-husband that
Yeah.
was on it trying to get her body back, and the lies that they told was pinning it on Mexico won't release her body and all of that. That's why
Mm.
this had to be so much more planned
Right.
than they were saying. There's a lot of details. Um but the reason I said all of them also, remember the young man that had the camera and was saying, fight back, fight back,
Right.
fight back. Well, he knew when they were filming that they put out those viral videos to throw people off. Okay.
Mm.
And so when she said, I can't, or whatever like that, all of them had taken turns already. There's more information. All of them had taken turns feeding her. When
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Donovan was the one that delivered the fatal thing that broke
Right.
her neck and back. Those injuries are consistent with like the worst
Like
injuries,
a neck
or
broke.
yeah, her neck broke, and the it says the way her neck and back, the final snap took
Yeah.
her 15 seconds to die after that, from what the autopsy and the coroners are saying. And the injuries, and then they got the video where she was sleeping in bed. That's why I was right there in the room in the bed she was sleeping in when they went and woke her up to
Yeah.
ask her for the money and everything. But I did put that drop in the link. It was Adonai Publishing. There's Ringo Roar. If you see me and can get me, I can give you the information and I can
Email it.
tell you all the news programs.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Email it to me. I want to take a look at it because we might have to do a part two of this as the
Yes.
investigation continues to unfold. Now that the FBI is involved. But listen, I
Yes.
appreciate that. That's good information. Because
Mhm.
I'm gonna look into that a little bit more, and I'm gonna bring up some more of the people I have in the back. And
Okay,
listen,
okay, because it first started on the national news before it ever got
that's
into the
great. Yeah,
viral in the YouTube and everything.
that's true.
It's something going on between the U.S. and Mexico and the FBI there. So I'm glad it's national. I hope they catch these people. Yeah, and on the other stations that I'm watching, there is a lot of people. Yes, we got some problems in our community,
This
but
is
there
true.
is a lot of Black people that is mobilizing to
Yes.
help get these people found.
Yeah. No, they already found. They found. They
Okay.
found. They
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
lost. They not lost. They found already. We gonna see. We gonna
Okay.
listen. Stand by. Stand by.
Okay.
We gonna do a part two. We're gonna do a part two.
Okay. Okay.
Miss
Okay.
Alexander, I appreciate you, my dear. I
Yeah.
appreciate you so much.
Yeah. I got a
You
lot
know,
of feelings behind it, but the criminal part, jail, 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 life without parole, and throw the book, the key, throw it away.
we're gonna see how it go. All right, love.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. Bye bye.
I love Miss Alexander, y'all. Yeah, that's my boo right there. Y'all, we have an interesting relationship, y'all. She's such a wonderful lady. I remember when she first joined the channel. We're talking about some stuff. She's out here in Georgia, but we had a great conversation. So it was good to see her again. Miss Danita. Miss Danita. Awesome, awesome. I'm gonna bring all you guys up. Great Pill, what's good? Dre, I see you. Common sense expert. I'm gonna bring you guys up. Let me get your thoughts real quick, Great Pill. I'm gonna put the whole panel together.
All right. Hey man, let me look around a little bit. This is the Nathan, the real Nathan. Last time, long time ago, you should
Long
guess on my
time.
stream.
Where you, yo, bro? Where you been at, man? Where you been at?
Just been like you, working, taking breaks, like living life.
Facts,
Living
facts.
life. Yeah, man. I like real talk. I appreciate because I know I hit you with DM, so I'm glad you're actually doing this stream because I know you're the brother to actually have the real conversation about it. And it hits me personally because I just had a friend not too long ago. She pretty much was murdered. Some situations.
Damn.
Yeah, it's actually hit the news. This is South Carolina.
Yeah,
Very sweet girl, very gullible. Same situation with her a little bit,
yeah,
but she had a roommate, and a lot of stuff happened from there. And the only way he got found out because he was doing knucklehead dumb stuff the same day. And it hit me personally because I'm like, I knew her for 10 years. She's a good
yeah, man. I'm
person.
sorry to hear that.
Yeah, it sucks, bro.
Right.
It's that year seemed like it. Everybody's for some reason. Um, but I wanted to address some of the things. Just moving back. Number one, I get it. When we see certain things or news articles on YouTube, let's not make our own speculations about certain things. Let's not gossip about just anything and make up your own story. If it's for you, fine. But when you come on, especially platforms, just be careful what you say and how you say it because you're doing more harm than good. Like for example, we talked to just the rumors. One,
Right.
she was in high school. She really, I mean, not really college. She did have some kind of success going for herself, but this wasn't it. She wasn't a millionaire. She wasn't because if she was, we know millionaires would move a certain way. You know, she did help out with her friends with funding most of the trips. So they just stuck by her. Me personally, I don't believe they planned out to murder her. I do feel like they had plans of just disrespecting her in a horrific way
Yeah,
and putting it on video and making it go viral. But
yeah.
unfortunately, it went a little bit too far than what they planned. So for me personally, I hope all of them get whatever charges to the highest extreme to it, and I hope Mexico take it first, and then whatever's left over, the states gets it.
Mm.
What's another one? Yeah, just a friends period. If you're traveling to another country, because I see most people's in the chat, like, I understand you feel a certain way. You don't want to go there because of you see this one incident, but let's keep it 100. People doing the same stupid, crazy stuff here in the States.
Over here, yeah.
Right across the street, somebody slapping, beating upside the bottle and everything else. You
Oof.
know, right across the state, it happens. But people just choose to be desensitized to it and just try to walk away from it or just avoid it or ignore it. We do it all the time. Major cities, New York, Atlanta, Miami, some parts of Cali. That's just what we do. So now this just went viral over another country. And so we're actually having a whole conversation about it. So my advice to everybody else, be careful the type of friends you just go on road trips with, cross
Yep.
countries with. Especially again, if she had the funds and all your friends can't chip in, clearly that's a red flag. Your friends just don't need your friends
Don't
just
need
need
to
to
be.
go.
Yeah, you don't need to be in nobody's country if you can't afford to get there. And but I will say the only thing I'll say, my only pushback on that is that
Mhm.
yes, these things happen over here all the time here in the US. I think the difference though is when you're overseas, there's this
We're privileged.
yeah, there's a sense of privilege. You think that you're going to get the same level of treatment, or you have the same layers of protection, And when you go to some other countries, it don't work like that. You don't get due process in some places. They just, they go off of you look like the person you're looking for. You're in jail.
Right.
You hear these horror stories of people locked up abroad, and they're there for years over stuff over here that'd be minor. I've heard people doing almost 6 months to a year in jail for shoplifting in Japan.
Right.
Where that's nothing but we cry over getting a ticket over here for shoplifting.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where, to your point, yes, the same thing, but when you go over to another country, you might not get that same level of respect or treated like a person who has a voice. And that's why you have to even be mindful. A lot of people don't realize I make sure when I go to countries, I know exactly where the embassy is. I have numbers to contact if anything happens. If I lose my passport, people don't
Yes.
think like that. You know what I mean? So yeah, we
Yes.
get too comfortable, man.
Yeah, you got to understand the rules and customs when you go to people. At the end of the day, you are a guest in somebody else's house. People
Facts.
don't understand that. Same way. I didn't have the extreme like you went because I went to Ireland and the guy was just straightforward. Hey, what you here for this night? Just gave him the whole rules and regulations. I just kept walking. Got to
Yep.
my destination. I enjoyed myself. I kept it local. It was a group of friends that everybody, we took care of each other. We stayed in space. Sometimes I wanted to venture out, but I was
Right.
more of the quick. Let me go walk around this corner real quick, and I'll come back to my friends. Or we had a meetup spot. These are things you got to have the conversation. Heck, we even have an itinerary what we was going to do time to time. So you got to have those conversations. I never left. I never brought
Absolutely.
my passport with me. I made a copy of it, left it in a safe.
That's
So
right.
it's those little things you got to think of.
Facts, facts. What do you? So let me ask you this real quick. And I'm gonna
Sure.
bring let me bring everybody up. Because I see the common sense expert. What's good, brother? I'm gonna bring
What's
up
going
Dre.
on, man?
What's good? What's good? Common sense. Let me get your thoughts real quick, and then Dre, let me get your thoughts on this.
Well, first of all, everybody's saying friends, but they're not friends. They're freeloaders because it's a
Yeah.
cold. It'd be a cold day in hell before I finance 6 people to a trip to Mexico.
Facts.
That was just
I kind of owned you at that time,
unbelievable.
common sense. I own you if I'm financing all of y'all. I'm just gonna keep it 100.
Right, and far as the laws, we are so entitled in this country. We think that when we go places, we can just do whatever we want to do, and
Yep.
nothing applies. The cause of death, they say it was the neck injury, but that's the cause of death is one thing. Determining who caused that is another thing.
Yeah.
In Mexico, they don't have the technology we have here in Louisiana. Not Louisiana where I'm from, but just America, period. So they might not be able to put a case like that. Then the other thing is, what are their laws down there? We don't have
Right.
they might not have the law of parties where the hand of one is the hand of all. So we never know what's going to happen. They might walk.
No,
Well,
I
that's a
doubt.
good.
I'm gonna
Well,
disagree with that one. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. I was gonna say I'm not sure either about the laws, and I try to look some up before. I was able to get some information, but I don't know anything about their laws. And again,
Right.
they initially charged her with femicide, which I was kind of shocked. But they said that's what they initiate their charges with, and then they start
Correct.
implementing a more in-depth homicide investigation if they find out this is not uh, murder based off of her being a woman.
Right.
And so I thought that was interesting. Dre, what are your thoughts on that in reference to this process and just even what common sense experts said in reference to the quality of investigation that Mexico has?
Well, I mean, I've done investigations with Mexican federal police on certain cases. They have technology. It's whether or not they're willing to use it um,
Not
A
America.
for
non-American,
tourists, for
right?
non-Mexicans. You
Yep.
understand what I'm saying? Because actually, when you look at it, the reason why they said what they said because any bad reporting kills tourism, and
Mhm.
that's part of the infrastructure. That's part of their cash flow is tourism. So of course they're not going to put out the truth. It's no different from schools here not reporting crimes in the schools because it brings the value of the school down.
True.
So, and I'll give you an example. I went to Singapore. Singapore for me was a rude awakening. Not even Japan, Singapore. Singapore has strict rules. You can't have any radical look. If you have long hair, tattoos, exposed tattoos, you're not getting in. When I read that, I thought it was a joke. So I seen some cats get pulled off the plane and put back on the plane, step back to the U.S. And they tell you on the flight, look, cover if you have any
Damn.
tattoos, cover it up because you got to remember that white boy that got caned for spitting on the ground in Singapore. They don't
Yes.
play. So, but in reference to this case, I'm gonna tell you like this. And Gray Pill brought up a very good point. And I think Nathan, I told you about this as an investigator. We do way more damage to the case putting out conjecture, emotions, feelings without having facts. And unfortunately, you have so much opinion going out there, it's hard to decipher what's fact from opinion and what's real from emotion. So
Yes.
everybody wants to be heard, everybody wants to be in the know or to be looked at as somebody that has the information. When in actuality, if you have the information, you're keeping your mouth shut, okay? Because yes, she's a black woman. And unfortunately, the black race don't rely on law enforcement. It doesn't matter what country they're in. So what's going to happen if things don't happen the way they feel it should in Mexico? Folks here, oh, you're going to start seeing bodies dropping in Charlotte, North Carolina, off of opinions, rumors, lies, conjecture. Because I want revenge for Shanquella. She can't hit it. She didn't defend herself, so I'm gonna offend her. and you're gonna start getting some copycat stuff, and then you're gonna start getting the threats, and it's gonna ruin the case.
I agree.
Okay, so and you have to understand. Trash Can says about RICO. You're not going to get a RICO if they have to be an organized crime. That you have to create a nexus to show that the crime that was committed was in reference to extortion, to betterment their organization, to profit what they're trying to do,
Like a
and it's
network.
organized. Right. You have to prove it. And the thing is, what folks have to understand is it's not what you know, it's what you can prove.
Right.
It don't matter what you know, that's irrelevant. Can you prove that John Janae did this, that Winner did this? Can you prove it? Because the more you talk about it, the more you create scenarios, the more you think that you want to know, other than reporting to what comes on the news. If you do not have any pinpoint knowledge where you spoke to somebody directly involved with what's going on, not third party information, you got to think about it that they may be lying to you. You're not getting facts.
I agree.
Right. Does RICO
Um,
even apply in Mexico? Probably
No.
not.
nah.
How about you got
You can't.
cartels?
Yeah,
They don't
yeah,
even
that's
charge
it.
cartels with RICO. They don't
Like
have that.
even with them, the money circulates with them, so it's like why even bother? The police station's like the officers get paid what $300 a month. So really, I'm not trying to arrest Nathan or even barely. I'm not even going to try to shoot him because guess what? Then I got to go and deal with that. Nah, I'm gonna keep my little 300 a
They
month. Just
they
chill.
they probably been better off calling the cops and paying them off. To be honest,
Correct.
now that the whole nation's involved, there's no way they're gonna get from underneath this because now they've put pressure on the U.S. government to do something about it, and the U.S. government is limited on what they can do. They can only do what the Mexican government is asking them to do based on their investigation.
Now, in
So
actuality, there's one loophole
what's
that
the
nobody's talked about. Everybody talked about one thing, but went around it. You have to determine where were they when if it's true that they emptied out her account, where were they when they did that?
well
If that
then that
happened in the U.S., the
Yes.
U.S. can
yeah,
be involved.
Now
Mhm.
that's
that's
where the
correct.
nitpicking comes from. When that part
That's
right
Correct.
correct.
there, that's the nitpicking.
That's correct.
Right.
So if it was a thing where, well, let's take it back even further because if they planned this on U.S. soil and this was a premeditated act that they were going to plan this trip, commit the crime, assuming that if the crime is committed in Mexico, they can get away with it. Well, the whole collusion of this whole act started on U.S.
Conspiracy.
soil or conspiracy. The
Yes.
conspiracy happened on U.S. soil, and then they wanted to get access to her bank account and rob her. Then you're absolutely correct. But let me ask you this though, Dre, because this is an interesting piece because the feds handle wire fraud because it goes across multiple jurisdictions. Would that should also work for overseas as well because when we used to work cases, not to clown any country, but we have a lot of fraud cases in certain countries more than others. All right, all right, cool. Shout out to Nigeria, right?
Hey,
So we would work a lot of. I'm just being honest. A lot of my fraud cases that came from those email scams and stuff like that, they would work them, work the leads, and it comes back to somewhere in Nigeria, right? Um, we would start the investigation, and if it was a good enough dollar amount, guess what? We would forward it over to the FBI, and so they have jurisdiction to do other stuff, right? So I wonder if this would even apply, if this also would apply in this circumstance, if they drained her bank account, it's a U.S. account, but they did it while they were in Mexico. I wonder if the FBI can get off on that and make a connection there.
Well, they won't be able to charge him with the murder. They'll be able to charge him with conspiracy for cyber theft,
Okay.
financial card theft. They'll be able
Mhm.
to him that here, and they can actually work in conjunction with the State Department in reference to levy those charges. What you have to
Okay.
understand is also, um, we can charge them and have Mexico house them.
That's true too.
that's a good
You
one
know what I'm
too.
saying?
Yeah.
That's true.
So you have to understand that because I'm seeing, I was reading the chat and everybody's like, well, how come they're not arrested? How come the feds haven't came got them? Let me tell you something. I'll put in the chat. If the case is not ready to be prosecuted, they don't have all the facts and they're not ready.
And that's
They're
right.
not coming to get. They're not coming to get one person. They're coming to get everybody, and they do it at the same time.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's a coordinated effort. Okay, everybody. What happens is you'll go to, and I've been party to quite a few of them, and I'm gonna tell you. I don't care if you carry a gun or a badge. It's probably one of the most intimidating things you'll ever be part of. You know what I'm saying? You'll sit up there and you do what's called like you have your briefing, and then you get your ops plan in reference to what you're going to do. You get your deconfliction to make sure that nobody else is going to hit them,
Right.
and then they tell you where you're going to be. When you hit, everybody's on the phone. Everybody got their watch synchronized, and I'm telling you, when I say synchronized, all
By the
right,
T.
by the T. And when
Yep.
they say 4 o'clock we hit, as soon as that second hit 12, boom, entry, and everybody's coming out, and all you're going to hear is mass arrest because they are a party to the crime. You don't know who's actually speaking, who actually giving out information, who's actually cooperating, but somebody is cooperating.
Yep.
But all those who have gone on social media and lied and said this, the conversation, we don't know what they actually told law enforcement.
Thank you.
That's true.
Thank you.
So everything that we're getting over, social media is third party information,
But
beliefs, you
I will
know.
say this though, Dre, and I say this a lot too. People get too comfortable on these live panels, just in media, period. So that will be the downfall as well.
Yeah.
Right.
But the thing is, like you said that you didn't believe that it was planned, that they planned to kill her, right?
Correct.
So I agree. But here's the thing: the gravitas, the unmitigated gall for this woman is to spend her funds, which goes into. I mean, I'm not. I mean, you can't talk ill of the dead,
Hmm.
but you want to fund half of this, half of your. I mean, you're gonna put your money, your hard money, pay half for a trip, and allow yourself to be disrespected on this trip.
See, I agree with
Yeah.
that, but this
You
is where it
know,
comes. This is where it comes to me with intent, right? So let's say I'm that guy. I'm housing all y'all. He might. Nate might be short 10 or 20. Mr. Common Sense might be short 100, but I'll make it work. Y'all my boys. But guess what? They and you and Dre, y'all them buddy. So y'all whisper behind the ear and Common Sense. He look a little bit innocent, so he just like he might be the guy holding the camera. The next thing you know, one thing led to another. I'm the guy with the injuries and now it's my demise. But I still can't fault y'all for that. But what I can fault you for your intent to harm, not to intent to kill. I
see,
think
but
that's
here's
a
the
little bit
thing.
different.
Here's the thing. But it goes into character also,
Correct. Hmm.
because at the end of the day, I'm sorry, me. If first of all, if I don't have enough money going on the trip, hey, I ain't going. I'm
You're
just
Yeah.
not
speaking
going.
logical. You're speaking logic
I'm not
still.
going.
Yeah.
But you know, but Nate's my boy,
Yeah.
and if I'm going to fund a trip for his birthday, I'm paying for Nate's trip. I'm not paying for
Yes.
everybody else's trip.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm not doing that. And because Nate shouldn't have to come out his pocket for his birthday. If I'm
Dre,
his
what you
boy,
mean? I mean, I'm homies too. Remember that 3 weeks
Right.
ago? I got you that
yeah.
one drink for $20.
Now we
Right.
good.
We all in
I'll
this
get you back
together.
on the drink. I'll get you back on your drink. You
I'll
know what I'm
fly you
saying?
in on Spirit Airline. How about that?
Nah, not spirit.
Ooh.
All right, Frontier. We get you on Frontier.
Back hurting already.
Right, right, right.
But again, but that's the thing. You have to like, and then you have to also look at they had nothing to lose. When
Correct.
me, if I'm going in there and I see that, damn that, I got a career I got to go back to. Hey, I need to chill that shit out.
Right.
I'm not getting caught up in no bullshit because as soon as I get back, hey, I'm gonna be Charleston White like a motherfucker. I'm telling
Yep.
Right.
because because you can't implement me because matter of fact, I'm gonna ask you gentlemen a question. How many people do it take to keep a secret? How many does it take to keep a secret? How many people?
Myself.
One.
Myself,
Right.
we've
One
all been
person.
taught.
Right. It takes one person to keep a secret.
Yep.
So what happened over there is not a secret. Some folks can't hold water.
True.
I mean, come on now. If you walk down the street, you find $20. You the first person, like, hey, I was walking down the street. Look at God. I found $20.
Man,
You
that's my
can't hold
20.
I'm not
right.
doing
You
that.
can't. We can't hold water. We got to share it with somebody. We are social people. You know what I'm saying? Listen, you got to remember, my best friend has a best friend who has a best friend who has a best friend. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
And, yeah, Nate could be my best friend, but I'm not his best friend.
Mm-hmm.
Mm,
You understand what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? And folks don't
Yep.
understand that. Oh, that's my friend girl. No, that's not your friend. How did y'all meet? Oh, I met her through so and so. Oh, then that's not your friend. Do she call you without that other person on the phone? And do you two hang out without this person? No,
Right.
that's not your friend. Do you have your own individual personal relationship with this person outside of this other entity? No, that's not your friend. If the only time you get together is when this one person is in town, these are not your friends.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Because I had a conversation with my ex-wife and I broke it down just like this. I said, when I send a message and say I'm coming up to New York, all of a sudden I'm in a group chat and everybody's saying, hey, Pop is on his way up. This is what we got going on. Boom, 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 boom. This is what we're gonna coordinate. This is where we go. All right. Who can make it? You can't make it? All right, cool. When my ex-wife was going up to New York, she had to call everybody and then get everybody to come together just to hang out. And I asked her, I was like, yo, when you go home, do they set up anything for you or do you have to coordinate everything? I said,
Mm-hmm.
these are not your friends.
Yes.
Exactly.
Right.
I said, and these friends are, I said, your friends celebrate you. They, and I said, especially when you deal with women, women inherently are competitive amongst each other and jealous. When they feel that they're better than you and they feel
Yeah.
that you do not deserve the
What you
opportunities
have.
that you have. You should be dating this dude. I'm better than you. I can do this. I can do that, whatever. And it goes into the saying, single women keep women single because they're hating. They want to be you. They know the numbers. They know that they want to replace you. If I don't have a dime in my pocket and I can't keep a job, but yet I have a friend who every time I turn around, starting a new business, got cash flow coming in, is talented, I'm hating. But I'm going to get there. I'm gonna be in her pocket because I'm trying to whatever scraps for. I'm trying to pick it up. And you
I
got to
agree.
understand that. I mean, I have no brothers, all sisters, and I got all daughters. I see the cattiness. You know we you it's not a sisterhood as well as the sisterhood is I'm gonna do my dirt and we're gonna keep it within because there's no accountability, not even amongst themselves. And it's not a man woman thing, it's a character flaw
Hmm.
I would like
because
to get. I would like to not to cut you off, Jay. I would love to hear from some women
when
in reference
women,
to this.
correct.
Yeah, in reference to this situation, and just kind of how they feel about what transpired, and is there any truth to? Because this is what we're saying earlier when chaotic truth was up. We're just chaotic truth was obviously he was alluding to it, but um well, he wasn't alluded to. He was very straightforward with it. He was basically saying that, women, a lot of sisters get together and they just clash. We've seen it. I've seen it. Dre's talking about the
Yeah.
cattiness. This is something that we are well aware of. And it's not to bash. We're not here bashing women, but we're simply making an observation. Even women will tell you this, right? And so I just, women can go on a trip. See, if I'm around guys and I know that I'm not liked within the group, I'm not going anywhere with y'all. you
Correct.
know
Right.
and it's weird because women are different. Women will know that they don't get along with a group of girls. They know that this girl is a problem, or that this girl's hating on you, blah blah blah, and they will still interact with one another. They'll still hang out. How many women have we dated, you guys, and they come back and they'll tell us information about their girlfriends. I'm like, oh, I can't stand her, and blah blah blah. I said,
Instantly.
"Bitch, you
Right.
just was over her house. You hanging out with her every weekend,
Instantly. I would literally see
right?"
one be cool with me, walk to her, cool with her. The next know one like, oh, that bitch. I'm like,
Yeah,
huh?
Yeah.
yeah.
That's what they
I thought
do.
y'all was
That's what they
friends.
do. Yeah, yeah. You know, I just my thing is, I don't. I try to look at it, and I like Danita brings up a good point. She says, "Please remember that these are a group of very young people that are not wise or experienced. They need older, wiser men to teach them and warn them." I will say
You
this.
got to listen to wise men
Yeah.
when
That
they
part.
impart that. But that's the
That
problem. They had dudes there. Dudes. Now here's the thing. Like, yo, are you so thirsty or trying to get some rump on a trip to Cancun that you would sit back like, hey, I ain't trying to ruin my chance. She already said she gonna give me some. Do you boo? And we
I don't
go.
even know if all of
You
them
know
are
what I'm saying?
straight or not. I don't even know if those guys are
Yeah.
straight or not. I don't know
Yeah.
what
That's a
they.
good point
Yeah.
too.
That's a good
They
point.
they could be, because what does that look? First of all, they couldn't have been if, first of all, my girlfriend, wife, whatever, is not going on no trip with other guys and I'm not there. I don't even
Right.
know if she's going on girl trips like that.
Well, first of all, I
That
don't care if
brings
they
me
gay. They still got Johnsons. They still got,
Yeah,
that brings
yeah.
me to another question because I
Right.
didn't want to put fault on anybody else, but just as a father, Dre, if your one of your daughters decide to go to that trip, how would you handle that? If she
Huh?
said, "Hey,
Easy.
Daddy, I'm going to a trip to Mexico with six ratchet friends," how would
Well,
you
here's the
handle that?
thing. My oldest daughter's in the house now. She came in from college, and she tells me about who she has problems with. I'm like, you ain't like, why would you want to go to somebody that you don't like? It's going to be a problem.
Hmm.
This is unless you two came together and like, look, this is going to be our retreat to fix ourselves. Yo, you got to understand. If you've ever been on a group trip, everybody, like you say, you plan out the trip or what you want to do, but you always gonna have that one person like, man, I'm just gonna chill. I don't want to go.
Mhm.
Dudes will be like, all right, fuck it, chill, and everybody else will go. Women be like, come on, bitch, go, don't be like that, and
Yes.
they'll go left. But the way I would handle it, I'm like, listen, you do not leave estates with folks that one, you wouldn't allow to sit at your dinner table if they were in, that you wouldn't let them sleep on your couch, that you wouldn't even bring to my house. If you haven't brought them to my house and introduced me and they can come and open up my fridge, they're not your friends. They're not somebody that I consider a friend because if you can't introduce them to me, they're not somebody that you want me to even know. That means you don't need to be going anywhere with them. Then you have a dude filming. She is butt ass naked. Film it. So how comfortable is she
Hmm.
are they to have another dude in there filming while she's naked?
Yeah, he's not straight. That's
Exactly.
he's not straight. That's what it is. He's suspect. So that's the whole point. This was a girls' trip with the male besties, right? And I
And the boyfriend didn't go. So it goes to show you, like,
Right.
look,
What?
I
yeah,
ain't trying to be around them, you know what I'm saying? Them
yeah,
dudes.
because you got these zesty guys. It's this the thing, man.
She had a boyfriend?
Yeah,
Yeah.
she had a boyfriend. When I see stuff like this, and let me get your thoughts on this common sense expert, because this is one of the questions I wanted to ask you, in general, because what does it say? What's the impression you get when you have someone who is carrying the load of or carrying the freeloaders on a trip, right? She's paying for everybody. Somehow they talked her into going on this trip, and she's covering everything for everybody. That says something about her and her relationship to her friends. You know what I mean? It's that girl, or I won't say girl, it's that person who's the only one in the group that got a car, right?
Hmm.
You're that person. You know what I mean? What were your thoughts when you found out that she covered the trip and everything like that, and it's the one who ended up getting killed?
I thought that was the start of the downfall because when you have people that's not on your level, things can go left. They don't have no money, so now
Yes,
they're dependent on you. So now if you cut them off, hey, I got to do something about this. If you that's like you letting somebody stay in your house rent free, and then you put them out, they liable to take you out. I mean, I'm sure you like I've been on calls where they get evicted, they don't want to move, so now somebody got to go,
right.
and it happens like that all the time, and I can only imagine when if they get them phones and do a forensics preview on the phones and see what's been going on. Because
Yes.
I've seen my examiners when I work with them, they can get everything on their phone from the time you bought it to present day.
Jeez.
Yes.
It don't
So
delete.
it
Yeah.
don't need nothing to delete. They can search warrants for your account, see where you were when you did this or that.
Yep.
Listen, I wrote 4 search warrants. I told Nate, that's why y'all haven't seen me on YouTube. I got two. Look, I've been busy. I done wrote 4 search warrants for cell phones, and I'm telling you, I already just got data back from one. You can't delete it.
Yeah,
You
you
Nope.
got to
can't.
stay with people that's on your level. There's no reason for you to be paying a trip for 6 people. How much money is she making? Because
More than
all I
that.
heard, she's like a hairstylist, but they don't make that kind of
Well,
She
money.
had
well, I
she had
will
a
say,
boutique also. She also
yeah,
had a
but
boutique.
even still, though, the fact is Mexico dollar
It's
versus
cheap.
ours, it's not that
Yeah.
high. So you're pretty much living really good. You can get a $300 apartment for like 300 or less a month. But now they're talking about condos wherever they're at. So
No,
they
they
were
had a
doing pretty
villa.
good. Yeah,
No,
they're
the
doing pretty
villa.
good.
But the
Listen, I've
transportation
been.
over there, that's
It's
American.
cheap.
You're gonna
Yeah,
you're
No,
it's
gonna pay
cheap.
the
$13
flight,
for a trip.
the airfare is where the money's at. But
Correct.
Right.
that villa in Los Cabos, Cabo San Lucas, is probably no more than $150, $175 a night
Correct.
for
It was
that
it
for
was
that
good.
spot.
Yeah.
Yes. See, that would get on my nerves if I got to fund everything. I'm not, nah. You too far in my pocket,
Tell you,
and
I
I'm
own
Right.
you.
feeding you too.
Common,
Come
I
on
own
now.
you, man. If I pay all that trip and feeding you, oh, I own
Right.
you.
But that's why unfortunately, you see a lot of us going to Mexico, right? Cancun and things like that. A lot of us don't jump too far past, brothers. We on the panel here, we've gone past 6, 7 hour flights, right? And
Yes.
so,
23
and when you,
hours.
and when it's 23 hours for me too. When you take these long flights, it's a different mentality, a different maturity, different amount of money being spent. The further you go, the more expensive it is.
Right.
Them plane tickets almost 2 grand. These are people. You have a little bit more maturity when you take those long flights. It's cheaper to go to Florida. It's cheaper to go to Vegas. It's cheaper to go to Cabo. It's cheaper to go to Mexico. And so what you get there is you get. No, let me not say that. Unfortunately, let me
Let
not
it
say
out,
that.
man. Let it out.
Listen, I've been trying to be good about. I don't want to sound like I'm bashing, but unfortunately, you get what you pay for. And so you see a certain type of behavior in areas where it's very inexpensive to be. But when you go out in areas that it costs you a little bit more to get there, you see less of the foolishness. You see less of the debauchery, right? Let me ask you guys this. What is I want to get you guys as closing statements, and I want to get your thoughts on the lessons. Because I'll tell you how it's gonna end, and Drake can tell you how it's gonna end. Um, they release warrants for one person.
Oh, they did.
Depending on how this investigation pans out, and reference to Dre brought up a good point about the conspiracy. Um, Depending on how things lay out, where they happen, but they tapped into her bank account and they stole that money out of her account. The feds will get involved in there on that standpoint, and best believe they're going to massage these charges on them to reflect that murder. Believe you and me, right? So the feds will make sure that they get the treatment they deserve. But I'm really curious to see how the rest of this unfolds. But just to be completely honest, you guys, the feds have everything they need to make an arrest, to actually apprehend them. They know where they're at. I'm sure they took them on the no fly list. They're not getting anywhere unless it's going by car.
They ain't got no
Um,
money.
they got access to the bank account. They're tracking them. I assure you, they're not going to get far. Um, what is if you guys had to give a lesson? What is the moral of the story? What can people learn from this? Men and women, it doesn't matter. Just in general, what went wrong? What are your thoughts on this? What's the lesson behind
Mm.
this? How can we not repeat this? Great Pill. Let me get your thoughts.
I'm gonna be harsh about this because
No, keep it real.
I feel like every and this again back to experience with my friend that what happened to her. I think everybody plays a moral degree to this because again I'm not a fly on the wall. I know how to. That's why I asked Dre how he would handle it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He seemed like he handled it great. I think he'll be in his daughter's behind about this situation. Like I this is not it. I don't feel comfortable with it. You're just not going to go refuse it, right? So I feel like it sucks that the father had to go through the motions he got to go through, but just by the opposite stuff I listened to, the interviews, I think that from the beginning he should have been on his daughter's behind from day one. Court her, his little girl's friends. Hey, these is not your friends. These are not the real ones. If you're doing good and you moving forward in your life, you don't need to be around these certain people. The same thing I told my friend, all the time. But unfortunately, now she's that hard-headed one, and she don't want to listen, and she still want to go forward with the people she want to travel with. I can't fight that. But I'm gonna still be that friend, that father, that uncle, that guardian, and I'm gonna still be in your behind about the right thing to do and how you carry yourself because your life is on the line, especially if you're traveling outside these countries. Number two, if you again, I can't say it no better than this. If you're going outside these countries and you have a father, or uncle, or friend that you really are close with that actually travel more than once, not just going to Mexico, because you can take a cruise to go to Mexico, you know,
Right.
some real countries, some real places, some real travel experiences. Have those people you trust under your belt, under your wing to go with. You know, that's what you need to do. Do your homework when you go into these other countries. It's not funny. You have issues over here, just got issues over there, but the only difference is the rules are different.
Right.
So please keep that in mind. The Philippines, they got strict. I don't know if you know this, Dre. Strict rules about no violence, no guns, no drugs. You pretty much got to walk in there with a smile on your face because if you don't, they're looking at you, pointing at you like he
Right.
might be that one. You know. So think about that. Don't take your life for granted, especially leaving outside your house. And I'll leave it like that.
Facts. I like what Half Past Fashion said, and she's absolutely true. You know, unfortunately,
Mhm.
I've seen this. Dre has seen this. You know, investigating crimes. You'd be surprised. A lot of parents have absolutely no control over their kids. You
Correct.
know, we hope to give them as much wisdom as possible, in hopes that they're going to actually utilize it and put it uh, in play. And sometimes they do, and sometimes they don't. And it's very unfortunate. It's very sad, and some people are more hard headed than others. But she makes a good point. At a certain age, a lot of parents don't even know who their friends are, their kids' friends are anymore. You know, so I would say, you know, parents, you know, maintain the best relationship you can with your kids, and as we become from kids to young adults to adults, you know, be transparent with the people who care about you. You know, your love's supposed to start and end within that home, within the core of your family. For those who have a good core family, but it's hard. Some people don't, right? So great pill. I appreciate you, brother. Listen, you know, I got to come back on your channel, man. It's been a minute since I've been
Yeah.
over there, but
Yeah, man. I got
we're
some
gonna
good
put something
topics
together.
worked up. So yeah, we got to do this. Got to do this.
All right,
Welcome
cool.
back, man. I'm glad to see you.
Hey, man, I appreciate it. I appreciate it, brother. I appreciate it. All right, homie. All right. Common sense expert. Let me get your thoughts, brother. What are your thoughts? The solutions, in your opinion, what could have been done differently, or what advice you would give?
You know, you don't deal with people that's not on your level, because when they're
Facts.
not on your level, they envy you. And this makes me this case is kind of similar with the Breonna Taylor situation. And you got to watch
Mm,
the company you keep. The
yeah,
police was on at that door because of who she was dealing with. This
that's
incident
true.
happened because the people she surrounded herself with. So you got to be mindful of who you keep around you, because you know they can cost you your life. We had a rapper in New Orleans, Magnolia Shorty. I don't know if you heard of her,
Mm,
but a few years ago, she got taken out because of who was in the car with her, and they shot up the car like 60 times because the company she kept. So
right.
you know, when people not on your level and you making more money than them, that's even in the street game. If somebody's selling more than the next man, oh, we got to take him out so we can take his spot. This is common behavior in that kind of atmosphere. So it's nothing new. It just happened, and they happen to record it. You know, and one of the things I'm seeing about that video is, from what I saw, it's kind of grainy. You can't really tell who is who from what I saw. Maybe y'all got a different video, so I'm kind of confused. If they get the cause of death, they're gonna have to determine who actually did the final blow or whatever caused it. How they gonna nail somebody down to that? And then again, this is Mexico. How much effort are they gonna put into this?
Correct. Correct. That was one of my main concerns too, and I was kind of shocked. I think I initially wasn't going to talk about it because it was so much rumors. There was just no way for me to get any accurate information to really have a real positive discussion and kind of really dive into it. But the moment the feds were like, "All right, we're getting in here," I was like, "All right, okay. Well, at least one thing I know is I know what the feds are going to do." You know, but as far as what happened and what all this, it was just too much, man. It was too much.
Yeah, the
Um,
misinformation.
Too much misinformation behind this, and I mean, it was to a point where some people were saying that one of the Dejanay was a man, like a transgender,
Right.
and they're putting the photo up. I was like, man, this is messy as hell.
Yeah. I
This
mean, we
is
don't
just
even know what
completely messy.
they did
Yeah,
on the crime scene investigations. Did they mess up the crime scene prior to that? We don't know none of that.
we don't know. They had to have tampered, obviously, with the
Yeah.
scene because they staged it before the doctor showed up. So, you know, they
Right.
tampered with the scene. The doctor shows up. They tell the doctor it's, you know, alcohol poisoning. She ain't wake up. Hey, we need to take to the hospital. Nah, leave her right here. So you got the tampering of the evidence. You got the misguided investigation. They had a head start over the investigation. And in my
Right.
personal opinion, when it first came out, I was like, you know what? I said, nah, they're not going to really investigate this. I said, women die all the time. Um,
Yeah, you know, when they get back, if they got back here, if they got any sense, they gonna clam up. They're not gonna talk to nobody. If a lawyer they get a lawyer present, he gonna tell them to shut up, and they gotta prove it. And then for us, we trying to get charges brought back here, any defense attorney, they're gonna try to argue we don't have jurisdiction. The crime didn't happen in America, so That's one thing we got to look at.
Right. Right. Hmm. Someone just sent me. Gail just sent me something. This is interesting. No, I agree. I agree. I wonder. This is going to be interesting as this case unfolds. This is already things are starting to unfold as we're having this conversation.
Yeah,
Um,
hopefully they're looking at some surveillance cameras to see who all left the room so they can. But we got that camera. Who knows what the original photo, the original camera? They need, they're gonna look for that because you got some of the people that edited it and chopped it up. You can't really, look at that. What you saw online is be valid.
right. There's a there is a there is a lady on YouTube. Um, there's a lady on YouTube who hired, I believe she hired a private investigator in Mexico to kind of keep her up to date on what's going on. And she's saying that there might be some, well, I keep saying collusion, conspiracy. There
Right.
might be some type of conspiracy with the Mexican investigators on this case. Maybe someone got paid off or blah blah blah. I don't know, but I think this is definitely going to be a part two of this conversation after more information gets brought up. But to your point, you got to get with people on your level, keep your circle small, and you really have to know the people that you're dealing with. And unfortunately, man, it's obvious that she didn't have a good
No.
understanding of who she was around. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, you have some women who still associate with women that they do not like, and when you put yourself in that type of situation, you open yourself up to be to another person's ignorance, to another person's wicked deeds or whatever.
Right.
So
And for all these women, they won't be independent. This is why you need a man in your life for some form of protection. You just don't need to be going traveling to a foreign country without a real man that's going to protect you, not going to sit behind a camera and tell you to fight back. Because there's no way in hell I would let my woman or somebody else on the trip just get beat down like that. That wouldn't
exactly.
happen. That camera
Nope.
would have been across somebody's head.
Nah, exactly, man. Nah, well said. But again, and these were what do you call them? Girls, not girls gone wild. What are them little what are the little
Bad
girls on the
Girls
reality
Club.
show? This is
Bad
Bad
Girls
Girls
Club.
Club.
Yeah,
Bad
Bad
Girls
Girls
Club.
Club.
That's what it was. Bad Girls Club with Tyronisha and friends.
Right.
So
Yeah, from the angle that they hit her at, from what I saw, people don't realize it don't take much to right. Like you said, if you're not tightening up, preparing for
nope.
a blow, anything
Yep.
can take you out.
Yeah, anything can take you out if you're not prepared for it. You know.
Yeah, but it's
Um.
sad.
Yeah. But that's good talks, brother. Good talks, man. I appreciate that. Common sense expert, man. You're
Yes,
welcome
sir.
back anytime, brother. Anytime for the conversation, man. I appreciate you.
I appreciate you, man. To the next time, y'all take it easy, brother.
All right. Dre, Dre, let me get your words of wisdom. Um, Let me get your words of wisdom because this lady got some stuff she's gonna print. She's gonna push out, in reference to this warrant, and that there's a possibility that the Mexican officials attempted to cover it up. And Dre, you alluded to it earlier that yeah, of course they would cover it up, and I was talking about it out as the reason why they're gonna put more emphasis on this now is because the whole idea is that you're messing up the money, right? How many women are gonna go to Cabo now, even though saying nothing to do with the locals in Mexico? It's just the fact that the fear of getting hurt and then not having the protection of another country. People really don't realize how big of a deal that is. If you go places and travel, you need to understand what your rights are, the responsibility that government has over you. You need to understand where and know. I bet you if you asked this group of the group that went on this trip, hey, do you know where the embassy is? How to reach the embassy out there in Mexico? They don't have a clue. We think it's as easy as getting on the plane and going somewhere else, and it's absolutely not. And they're about to learn the hard way. What are your closing thoughts in reference to this, just in general?
I mean, you made a very valid point in reference to not understanding. Like, how often do you think people pay attention when they get close to the country they're flying to? When they have to fill out that little card and they put all that information on there, do they not understand what exactly that this is actually your 12? This is kind of like your voucher to get over there.
Right.
And but the reason why Mexico is taking it seriously is that their reputation is now being besmirched because it goes into the image of how, I mean, and it's a lot deeper. It goes into the image that Black folks portray about themselves. Mexico felt that they can hide this and they can cover it up, and it wouldn't be nothing about it.
Yeah.
These folks that did it wouldn't open their mouth, they wouldn't say nothing about it, and it would have been swept under the rug.
Yep.
But the fact is, the news media over here is portraying with the 3 weeks straight with Black folks going over to Mexico and dying, whether it was the carbon monoxide, the alcohol poisoning,
Oh,
or
the
this event.
alcohol. Yeah,
Right,
I forgot about that. Yep,
right.
yep,
So right now, the pressures on them, and it's coming from our government in reference to sanctions, and it has nothing to do with black and white, but it's more or less. Listen, we had some American citizens come over there and die,
yep.
and you don't know who their parents are, who they know, or who they're connected to. That's kind of pushing things behind the scenes. And the thing is, we think so much we don't think on a macro level. We think on a macro level, not understanding is a way bigger picture. There's a lot of things are in play. So, like, I'm going away for my birthday by myself, but it's to a country that I've been to by myself before. You know what I'm saying? And normally when I travel by myself, I do my excursions, but for the most part, I go to relax. I get up when I want, I do what I want, when I want, within the guidelines of I read the rules of the resort. I know what the embassy is, and I know what I can and can't do. I know what I can and can't say. I know
Yep.
about I don't curse, I don't spit, I don't litter. You can't go to Thailand and drop money because it's disrespectful because you have the royalty on it. And they treat it as disrespect. You can't walk on certain things. These are things you have to know before you go anywhere.
Right.
And we as folks, and I just look at it as it's so many different things going on in this case. Was Shanquella trying to floss? Hey, I got this, I got the dough, I got this going on, and they was jealous because she was showing off. Who knows? Who knows? The burden of the proof is on the state to prove that these people committed a crime.
Right.
All they have to do is muddy the waters. You don't know if these folks are putting out misinformation at the behest of their attorneys. You don't know if they may not have any retainer because once they retain legal, it's broadcasted. If you didn't know anything wrong, why you need a lawyer? That's how
Mm.
the public opinion works. They're looking for every little step you make. And unfortunately, when you really don't know what you're looking for, you're gonna create your own narrative, and that's what it's just unfortunate. It's unfortunate that it's happened to us as a culture, and every day we see that our culture is flawed. Our way of thinking, our way of living, our way of moving is doing us a disservice. We want so bad to be respected, but we don't respect ourselves.
Whew.
And it's like, how can we move us forward when every time we take a tiptoe forward, we get knocked back 75 steps? And
Right.
then we complaining that, we're not complaining that, hey, how do we get knocked back here? We're complaining that we shouldn't even took that tiptoe step forward. We should have stayed here. That's where we are. We're comfortable in our ignorance. We're so comfortable. It's like we're in a cocoon, afraid to spread our wings and fly and see that there's a whole world out there.
Right.
Because when we leave the United States, we take the same bullshit mentality over to these other countries and it make us look bad, and they don't want us, and they start resenting us, and they start treating us like shit. They don't have to follow US laws over there.
Nope.
They don't want us messing with their women. They don't want us messing with their money. They don't even want us eating their food.
Right.
And it's like, and I travel a lot for business, and I'm telling you, it's a different. Now, granted, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. There are some places that love their melanated brothers and treat them with respect and love. And I don't mean the women. I'm talking about everybody, through the
Yeah.
government, through the men. They treat us with respect and they honor us. But that's a reputation that we have to maintain. because all they see is how they depict us on the news, and then you got white folks that go over there that still say that yeah, this is how they are over the U.S. too, and we do nothing about it. We need to get our stuff together. We need to educate our family members. Like, look, if you're gonna go on a trip, you need to go with that one friend, not a group of 20.
Right.
You know, and I know you want to go to Dubai. I know you want to go to Bali. I know you want to go to all these places because you see other people doing it. Find out what your why is. Why do you want to do this? Why do you feel the need that you need to fund somebody else's stuff? Are you that person that you always got to pay for everybody going to the club? You got to pay for everybody's meals. You're being taken advantage of, and you have to be cognizant and be self-aware that you where you are in the friend totem pole. Are you the one? Are you the money person?
Right.
Because that's how dudes are. Dudes got that one ugly dude that got dough. They keep him around. They got the good looking dude that always gonna bring the chicks around. That you
Always.
know what I'm saying. And you got your muscle. You got your smooth talkers, and everybody works in causality. Women,
Right.
they got the fat girl
They
that
got
they
the
bring
fat
around.
girl, the
You know
pretty
what I'm
girl.
saying? They got the pretty girls and they got the average girls that try to, that know they better looking than the fat girls, but they ain't good
Right.
as the pretty girls. But they gonna be nice to the pretty girls because whatever men they throw away, they want to get. It's a
That's right.
different hierarchy, but it's disingenuous all the way around. Men, we know when you the money dude, we know we the only reason why we hanging around because we got the dough.
You
But
got the
we
dough.
right, but we leverage that shit. Like, hey, nah, bro, I can't give you 20. If you can't get me with a chick, I can't.
Ah.
You might not go. I got a
But
20 for you, but you got to look out.
but the money guy though is funny because the money guy is always a guy that's how the person who has that value and they have nothing else to show for it. They use that as a form of validation, right?
Mhm.
So they want to be the money guy because that's how they make themselves feel, important in a sense, and same thing with that pretty girl amongst the group. It's like, why does a pretty girl hang out with a bunch of ugly girls? And it's because it's that validation. It makes you
Mhm.
feel like you're doing more, you're being more than the other in the sense of the other group. But I don't know. I think a lot of this case and this particular incident is very interesting for the simple fact that you know um, there's a lady in the chat. She was saying that maybe she went on this trip because she trusted the male best friend that was there and felt comfortable because he was going. But this goes back to what I was saying earlier that women tend to do is that it could be a group of 10, they can dislike 5 out of the 10 and still associate, with men. If I don't like you and there's one person in the group I don't like, there's a
I ain't going.
99% chance I'm not going. It's men look at the potential danger of being around someone that you don't like that's another male. Things can be set off at any point in time, and it's just not worth the headache, man. It's not worth it. But women, I see them purposely put themselves in environments and in situations around other girls they don't like, that are catty, that they can't stand. I used to women I've dated in the past, they all the time, "Oh, I can't stand her, she blah 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 blah." I said, "Oh, what you about to do, girl? We about to go hang out." And so it's one of those things where I never really understood that. But this could be very much well be one of those situations. I just, and even I think it was a caller, the first caller, she was saying how, for someone to assault you with that level of hate, there it has to be something that it was already there. It was already there. And she made some statements in the recording like, "Oh, keep running your mouth," kind of thing. She was like, "Keep running your mouth, keep running your mouth." And honestly, Dre, this is one of the problems, and I say it all the time on this channel, that we have got to a place to where we feel the need that everything we have to address every issue with violence. You know, words have become an instigator of death within the Black community. You know, it's you can't even have an argument. I can't even insult you without fear of being killed. Within our community, man, it's death is it's almost like it means nothing anymore. Life doesn't hold any value, any weight anymore.
Children, children act out. Adults talk it out. So have we really, as a race, growing up? Have we matured at the pace we're supposed to? Have we learned from past mistakes? No, we perpetuate it. And you are right. You know, we have, I don't even know if you know her or not, but she used to work at East. She went down to Miami with her cousin and her
Hmm.
sister and a friend, and they got into an argument, beat her up, took her took her clothes, and flew back to Atlanta and left her
Mm.
down there. Left her there. No license, no nothing. Took all her stuff and left.
Yeah.
Had a borrow phone to call up to see if we could help her get back because they even canceled her flight. Family, women, you know what I'm saying? And it's like dudes know, like nah, because he always gonna compete, and you always got that one hating dude that's like you could be sitting there and talk, everybody's talking to a woman except for him, and he gonna come to you because he don't like you and start bringing up shit like, yo, you ever changed them socks? Yo, you took your shower today?
Right.
Yo, you know you ain't brush your teeth. Like, bro, why you even, you know what I'm saying? So why even bring this cat along? Why do you even go? If you know somebody you don't like, don't go. Like, look, when Gray Pill asks, how will I handle it? I'm not handling it. Listen, don't put yourself. I told my daughter, don't put yourself in a position to where me or the police have to get you out of.
Right. That part.
You know, you truly not missing anything. You know what I'm saying? You want to go? Hey, you want to go here? I'll pay for you and your best friend to go, and you two have, because I know them, I know their parents, I know whatever beef y'all got going on. If y'all have beef, fine. This is your ride or die who's been supportive. Yeah, fuck it. I'll pay for it. I send y'all over there. Go. Enjoy yourself. But you don't need to be and have to prove yourself to folks that don't like you.
Correct.
Folks that miss opportunity. Like, you don't smoke weed. Why you hang around folks who smoke weed? You don't drink. Why you hang around folks that don't drink? Because you're gonna be stuck under the peer pressure, and they're gonna talk about you. She too good. He too good. He this. He that. Why put yourself in a group that don't respect you and you obviously don't belong to? And if you got to fight to fit into something, you don't belong there. You're that square peg trying to fit into a round hole. And we just have to. It's disheartening because this case has drawn so much attention because of the drama behind it, opposed to the atrocities that was done to this woman.
Yes. Yep.
Everybody's feeding off the negativity like it's a drug and perpetuating, like, and think it's hype. You know what I'm saying?
Where'd it
And
come
it's
from though? You got to think this is something that's orchestrated in practice. And it's conditioned within this country, within our community. You think of what do we want? Bad Girls Club, Real Housewives. This to me, watching this video, this looks like an episode of Real Housewives of Atlanta. Every episode, it's drama. It's about women just fighting, bickering over stuff that's irrelevant. They even have a show about doctors, doctors, and doctors are these are educated and they're on they're on live TV and they're drama, man. This looks like another episode of what we see all the time, and it's like you said, it's drama based. It's all drama based, and to the point to where you forget that this is people's real lives being impacted and someone's life being taken. Man, this is like it's like reality TV. You almost
man,
get
like,
desensitized by it.
right. Tara asks how would men handle a man like this? They won't. They just won't bother with him. See,
Yep.
men don't put it like this. Men don't wait till they get angry before they tell another dude they don't fuck with you. They're like, hey, bro, I'm just like, look, you could be a cool dude.
I
I don't fuck with you.
Yep.
I don't like how you move.
That's right.
You're his friend. You don't
Yep.
have to be mine. You know what I'm
That's right.
saying? We good. I don't have no hate for you. You know what I'm saying?
Don't
But
got
I
to
don't need
talk.
to be hanging out with you.
There you
And
go.
I damn sure don't need to get on a plane to go anywhere and be stuck with you. We
Correct.
good. You know what
Correct.
I'm saying? And it's simple as that. And when you're like, hey, yo, I'm going out. Hey, yo, who calling? Yo, Jonathan going. All right, bro. Yo, y'all enjoy. You'll be safe, bro.
Right. Right.
Keep my ass here. You know what I'm saying? I'm not
Fact.
going to say, yo, watch that dude, Jonathan. I've said my piece. I'm not going to keep repeating it. I'm just not, yo, you know where I stand.
Right.
Like, hey,
Facts.
man, I'm having a party, man. I would really love for you to be there. Well, if you really need to be there, how big is the venue? How many people
Mm,
you got going? You got 100 people, I come. You got 5 people, I'm not coming. If
mm.
there's no place where there's a chance that all we had to do is we could be on either sides of the spot and don't have to worry about each other, yeah, I'm coming because there's way more people for me to interact with. But if it's just us chilling, I can't fuck with the dude. I don't. He just brings the worst out of me. I no.
Right. Because we know at the end of the day, if we got to throw hands, guess what? It's room for violence with men when men get involved, and that's the reason why we don't even do it. We don't do it. We don't pretend. We don't. And if men are pretending, then they getting ready to hit you.
Correct.
They got a hit for you, and they trying to take you out, or they got something. They plan on to hit a lick on you. That's the only reason why they faking the funk like that. But nah, we just don't do that. It's not the norm.
And the
Um,
difference is that we swallow our pride. I've had dudes that I've told, yo, I don't fuck with you. Call me up like, hey man, I'm caught up. Look, I know you don't fuck with me. I understand. I'm in some shit. Can you help me out, bro?
mhm,
Yeah, I got you. Tell me what's going on, and I see if I can help you. And I will do it because you're a brother in need. You understand where I am, and you understand how I feel about your ass. But it takes a lot for you to pick up the phone to call me because you in some shit.
right,
That's the difference. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, look, we just have to. It's nothing to be jealous about. You know what I'm saying? I want to see this man right here get 1 billion followers and branch out way outside of YouTube. You know what I'm saying? I want to see him rise. I'm not jealous. I can never be jealous of somebody that I'm supporting. And that's the
right,
thing. I don't need to shine. We should be comfortable in the background doing the work to make sure that somebody who's better fit to do and put out the message do their job. And then we can stand there and hold them to the fire to make sure that they do what they're supposed to do. I don't need to shine. We don't need to shine. We need to support. Put our folks on our shoulders. Let them scream from the high heavens that look, we ain't the race that these folks are portraying. We're going to
right,
do better. Instead of putting up these, I can't even call them Pookies and Ray Rays no more. These uneducated, unvisually aesthetic folks to represent us.
right.
So, but that's my closing argument. That's my closing spot, man. It's just I love us. I just want us to do better. But we
Facts.
have so many educated folks up here that ain't using their education and they sense to, you know what I'm saying? We're letting our emotions dictate everything. And when our emotions steer us wrong and we don't get the results that we want, instead of saying I fucked up, my bad, we're blaming it on everybody else why things didn't work.
Correct.
I didn't get this job because Nick didn't teach me how to tie a tie, or I had to wear Jordans because I spent my last $100 on a new jumps instead of buying me some hard bottoms so I could wear to work for this job interview.
Right.
Damn, it's just we have to be responsible and understand that we are in a perpetual maelstrom. We're going around in the goddamn circle and we're going to get sucked in until we realize, look, we need to stop this and plug up this hole so we can float, so we can move forward and ride this
Right.
wave. But
Facts.
that's it, man. But yo, keep doing the good work. I got your back.
Absolutely.
Support you in all you do. All right.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you, brother. Much love always.
Man.
All right. Dre gotta go and play superhero. I think he's off tomorrow. Um, you guys, this is interesting. It's actually TLA. Shout out to Gail for dropping this. TLA has some inside scoop from in reference to this case as well. He just started streaming. He's talking about he's planning on unveiling that there's a possibility. I think from what he's saying, there's a possibility that I won't say possibility. It seems like he has information that would suggest that there's been some corruption involved or possible cover up involved. So he's going to be releasing that information on his channel. You guys, if you're not familiar with the lead attorney, he is a phenomenal content creator, extremely entertaining and addictive channel. He has very funny, very informative, and I always enjoy his channel, his message. So he's also talking about it as well. You guys, listen, I don't have much for you on this topic, you guys, but please feel free to go over to TLA and take a look at his content and what he's putting out. He looks like he's about to drop some information. He's the perfect person to talk about this, especially when it comes to the legal side of it. About one, he speaks Spanish. He's very, very very familiar with the Spanish culture, and so I believe he probably has a better understanding of the inner workings of the law as it relates to Mexico. So I'm pretty sure he's going to break down a lot of the legal stuff in reference to the warrant, I believe, as well. So please go check him out. Gail, if you can drop the link to his stream, you guys, we're going to follow up and get some additional information. It looks like he's going to reveal some hidden information that no one knows about. Before you guys go, I want to get Danita in here real quick. And yeah, listen, if it's 11 o'clock here, y'all gonna be up to about 1 o'clock messing with TLA. So get in when you can or catch the replay. Danita, you free? You available, Danita? Let me bring you up real quick. I know you had some final thoughts. Let me
Yes.
get your final thoughts, Miss Alexander.
Yes, I'm gonna, when you hear me, okay, wait a minute. When you can
Mhm.
hear me, let me know. And I'm turning down my other phone.
Okay, I can hear you.
Okay, now, hold on, let me,
She said it's 4 a.m. in
I'm
the UK.
sorry.
Half
I'm
past 5 in
sorry.
the UK. Shout out to the
Okay,
UK.
yes, I'm so glad you mentioned the lead attorney. He is
Mhm.
one of my main sources. You know, I'm here in DeKalb County.
Yes,
So I
ma'am.
follow you and the lead attorney. And then I want to ask y'all to do a favor for me. I'm glad that you mentioned him at the end. That's where I've gotten a lot of my information
Yeah, stuff is
from
on point.
on this case. He used
Okay.
to live in Mexico. He used to
Oh,
live
okay.
in Mexico. He said he was not in the fancy part, but he was there about 5 years, I think he said.
Okay.
So he knows a little bit, you know. And another thing, I would love for you and him to do another show together. I remember when y'all did
The first
the
one.
Young Thug show
Uh-huh.
together. I don't know
We
if you
just
know what I'm talking about.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I
Y'all ought to
remember.
get together on this one or some other things again. Yeah,
We
I didn't
need
know.
to we need
Yeah.
to we actually, believe it or not, all right, good night, Diamond. Good night, Diamond. I see you guys. Um
Mhm.
we you guys, as we're closing down, you guys, feel free to jump over on TLA. I will be
Oh
over there
yeah, oh
myself in
yeah.
about
I've been
30 minutes.
watching him. That's my guy. You and him, believe it or not, weren't you the one who introduced Officer Tatum?
Well, I didn't introduce him. That brother was big time before I got
Well,
here,
I
but
didn't know
he
about
came on. Oh, you
I
didn't
didn't
know
know
about
about
him.
him before you.
Okay,
That's
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
now I follow him also.
Yes, he gave me an opportunity to interview him, and he was very, very generous about it, and we had a great conversation over here. For those who have not seen that interview, please go and check it out. The interview with Officer Tatum here on YouTube.
Yes.
But to your question, me and me and TLA, actually, when I first started YouTube and got on, I think I had maybe 2,000 subscribers. It was low. I
Mhm.
don't think I had that much. But TLA was
Yeah.
nice enough to bring me on and do a
Mhm.
collaboration. We did a collaboration
Mhm.
together when I first started, and it was over the Ahmaud Arbery case. And
Oh,
and so if you haven't seen that, that's way in the back of the archives. I got to go and find it if you haven't seen it. But it was a
I'm gonna look
great
for it under
case.
member perks.
Yes,
Put
yes,
posted
yes,
under member perks, and
yes.
I'll look for that one. I got here after that. I got in.
Okay.
I'm new to the Atlanta area. Yeah.
Hmm. Okay.
Um,
Yeah.
I wanted to come up to say every man that had been on the panel that had talking tonight.
Mhm.
Shout outs to Dre Blanco. I love Chaotic. All of the men because they made very good, valid points. Now
Right.
here's something very that I think is very serious for all of us as in the Black community to consider. These people were very, very young. We don't. It is so true. You got so many single mothers
Yeah.
raising boys and girls without the main input. I know for a fact I wouldn't be, and I miss my father because he's gone now, and I believe I struggle with the recent situations because he is passed away. Him and my mother. Men are very important. Women are very gullible. We don't have the protective nature or whatever. These women and these young men are out here raised by women without the input of men. So you
Mhm.
got women teaching women, raising women, and then women are listening to other women. I mean, they
That's
don't
right.
have any men to get this information from.
That's right.
And it's even when I was growing up, that was a problem, but it's even worse
Yes.
now. So they see this thing, like you said, like they Blanco and you were talking about the media. And so you got the housewives, and this, that, and the other. That's what they have to depend on. And I really want to call to all men in our community to pick up more than just your children. Okay.
Mm.
And I know you do that. I know probably people like the lead attorney do that. My father was the type of man, and no offense to Shanquella's father, but some men are not very protective like they should. When I was growing up, if I went to the corner store, because I was raised in Brooklyn, New York, I was born and raised in Brooklyn. My uncles would be screaming as they looking at me throughout the window, and my father, if a boy just walked up to talk to me. They don't have that protection. Her father, no offense, that man is grieving, but you got men that have lost that protective nature. My dad would have
I would say
never.
too, you're correct, but I would say one thing though. One of the things that's missing from that is that is true, but one of the biggest issues is that society has changed in a way to where a lot of the young adults, a lot of the kids and the children, they don't listen. You
No,
know,
they don't. They
they don't
don't,
listen,
but that's
and
because
they
they
avoid the
had,
protection.
yeah. But they
You know,
got people saying that's the modern woman and the modern man. I don't have to listen to anybody.
hmm
That's
the culture
that's the
changed.
women's
Yeah,
movement and everything. And we don't have, if you don't have a man, okay, you don't have to be your husband or boyfriend or anything like that. It could be any man that is wise, responsible. It could be your uncle. It could be your cousin. If you don't have a man covering you and over you
mm,
and warning you and watching out for you, then you just with a
you out
bunch of,
here.
what do women know about protection? We were
Well, you
taught,
got you
we
can't.
naturally nurture and stuff like that. She, like you were saying, she paid for that whole trip because it was her friend's birthday. Women are emotional about birthdays and everything. We're emotionally gullible. If a man is not warning us, and there needs to be just as much media of men warning us, and they're out there, that of the dangers of that. This need to be an opportunity
I,
for people to be warned.
I think I think that's the key. I think the key is we do need more of it. I think, but what one of the biggest problems and the obstacles that I've seen is you can't protect people who don't listen.
That
That
is
goes for
true.
men and women, right?
That
That's
is
not
true.
excluding women. One of the biggest things that I've seen throughout my career is that we have young adults, you have kids who don't listen, they don't want the guidance, they don't want the protection. You cannot
Hmm.
protect people who are not listening to wisdom. And so, to your point, what ends up happening is we start having a cycle of dysfunction that continues to perpetuate itself throughout our community simply because people do not want to listen. We are fighting back. We're pushing against any type of moral structure, and
Hmm.
it's actually causing a lot of pain and a lot of suffering.
Hmm.
A lot
Hmm.
of the pain and suffering that we are experiencing right now, a lot of times, the majority of times, it's self-inflicted. And to your point, but we do need to step up. I think everybody needs to, the men need to step up and the women need to step up.
And I
And
do agree with
Mhm.
you on the hard-headedness and everything, this here gangster rap culture, because I love hip hop. But with
Yeah,
this gangster, I came up with hip hop and rap,
right,
but it was a whole different type
right,
of, when I was coming up. But with
right.
this whole gangster thing, and it's like nobody is scaring them. Like they're not scared of anything. And I remember the naivety when I was younger of, oh, that's not gonna happen to me, you
Right.
know. But if they can put all this ugly stuff out there about the making it glamorous, the rap, the being a hoe, being excuse my language,
You fine.
but you know what I'm saying, the tone
Yeah,
of the videos, gangster, that whole tone
the
with
culture,
takeoff
the
and that
culture.
culture,
Yeah,
yes.
the culture
Then
has.
I was New York City EMS. I was
Yeah,
born in New York. We had this program, I don't know if you ever heard of it, called Scared Straight,
yeah,
where these kids had to go into the prison with
right,
prisoners and stuff, or they had to see, because I was New York City EMS, some blood and guts scattered, somebody brain splattered
correct,
on it, to see the ugliness behind it. If you can glamorize it,
right.
I think they can't imagine, because the media have made it all so glamorous.
Yeah, it's to a point now where I think it's too far gone. I think that we're in a situation now where they've glamorized a lifestyle. So now social media promotes a lifestyle. Rappers promote a lifestyle that kids are wanting to emulate and they want to admire. They admire it. And so therefore they're willing to put their life on the line for it. But what ends up happening is when the reality sets in, that's when they get the wake up call. And a lot of times it's too late. They're in prison, they're in a grave, they're in the hospital, or they committed a crime or they're a part of a crime. And next, their life turns south. And so, to your point, yeah, we've glamorized it. The only way to fix it is to change the culture. And, unfortunately, too many people are making money off of the culture
Mhm.
and they don't want it to change. And this is exactly what Kanye or Ye is going
Mhm.
through right now. He's
Mhm.
speaking out against it, but
Mhm.
unfortunately, too many people in our community who are in a position to actually make the change are more concerned about keeping the money. And if
Yeah.
you're concerned about keeping the money, then you're not concerned about the change. If you're not concerned about the change, then you don't care about the well-being of people who look
Mhm.
like you. And
Well,
so,
I
but
I'm gonna be continuing to watch you, because you're on the street now. In New York City EMS, my police buddies that went in with me on
right,
calls all the time. The
right,
police is my best friend. They've been since I, am not working anymore and all of that. And I'm gonna listen, because you're on
yeah,
the street. And the thing about it is, this was about young people that
yes,
probably don't listen.
yes,
But I know cops, right hand DeKalb County, that are
hmm
in danger of these young people
yeah,
that's gangster,
yep,
blowing their brains out before they can even get in the door to
yep,
rescue me if I need to be rescued. And it's the
uh,
same way on New York Street. So we look and we say the kids are this and that and they're lost, but they're not just doing it
not just
against other kids. They're killing the police, they're killing the EMS, they're killing older people and
yeah,
stuff like that. So
we
it trickles over. If we
it
want to
does,
keep on thinking this is just a problem with the young folks, modern women,
no, it's becoming
feminine
a
men
culture
and all
problem.
that,
Yeah,
it's a whole community
yep,
problem.
yep, and we
I'm
got we got to step up.
disabled and all of that, and then that
You,
makes me a target, and
well, that's
nobody's safe. But I'm gonna listen to what your suggestions are, because you are on those streets,
no,
and
thank
you and the lead attorney. I'm looking forward to y'all doing some more things together,
yeah,
and even you and Officer Tatum again.
yeah. Me and Officer Tatum talked about it. I think next year we'll probably get a chance to do something when things calm down.
Hmm.
We want to have a conversation. We talked about it behind the scenes about police reform, having a stream
Hmm.
just about police reform, and
Hmm.
we kind of debate and go back and forth about the issues. I spoke to the TLA. Me and him, we communicate.
Hmm.
and it's mainly about catching
Mhm.
cases or getting
Mhm.
cases that really align with both of us.
Yes,
This
yes.
this
Like this one,
yeah,
I,
this
I I would
one,
love to you giving the police input, then him as the attorney, and
correct.
having lived in Mexico, and now there is
Yes,
international with
yeah,
Mexico looking for them and the FBI looking for them.
yeah.
Those are the kind
It,
of things I like to see you and him together talking
yeah,
about both
we
sides.
gotta. I'm a little bit. This particular case is a little bit unique, a little bit out of my
Yes,
wheelhouse because it's federal. Though I've partnered with federal agencies to work cases, this is a different. This is different, right? This is a
it
whole nother beast.
is. It
The
is.
crime was committed in a whole nother country. That's
It
way out of
is.
my jurisdiction.
Mm-hmm.
But I do know how the feds operate. I do know the leverage that they can use and things like this, and the type of equipment and how they investigate. But TLA is definitely going to be a
Yes.
great uh, gather of information when it comes to this, because he just has so
Yes.
much
Yes.
experience with the law, and he
Yes.
knows Mexican law really well, because he again, like you said, he's been he's lived in Mexico, and I know he
Yes.
lived in a Spanish speaking country. I just didn't know which one it was,
It was
but
Mexico, but
it
he
was
said he was
Mexico.
not in the glamorous part. I can't
I
remember the
bet, I
names. He
bet.
said it was not. He was like it was rough, rough, rough where he was.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No,
Yeah, yeah.
we're gonna collaborate again. I think I've always been waiting for a really good case. If it's right, we collab together. We always have a very good chemistry on YouTube. So I think the one we did with Young Thug, he was doing that. So that was good to come on and really give some
Hmm.
insight from both perspectives. So I think
Hmm.
we're waiting for another good case. He's busy
Yes,
now. His channel's
yes.
growing. He's at 200,000. So I'm
And
really
I
really excited for him and
And
his
I
growth.
encourage
Mhm.
everybody to watch you, him, Tatum,
Thank you,
and I also follow Michi. Michi
Michi.
S.
That's my
Yeah, oh,
boo.
that's my girl.
She's off the chain. She's off the chain.
Yeah, she
Yeah,
is. She
me and her
is.
gonna do it. We're gonna do a stream together, like an official
Oh,
testimonial together. Yeah,
good,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
good.
She's come over a lot, and she's really helped out. She's also helped out and help spread the channel, my channel, and topics and discussions that I've had in live
Mhm.
streams. So she's been a very, very big supporter, and just willing to just have
Yes,
the conversation. Even though sometimes our perspectives on things may be different,
yes.
she's always willing to have the conversation. I really appreciate
She
that about
is, and she's
her.
supportive, and I wish more of our people would do that. I like the way you encourage in free, independent thinking. There will be
Absolutely.
things we differ on,
Right.
because everybody is unique, but we got to focus on what we have in common.
Absolutely.
And I think we don't do enough of that.
That's
We
correct.
Yeah, and I admire you, Michi, and everybody that comes together, Blanco and everybody
Haha, shout out
that
to
has
Blanco.
that patience. Oh yeah, Dre. Oh my goodness, yeah. Because you won't always agree on every point, but we
True.
need to come together on the main issues that we do agree on. And I only
Very
add
true.
one more thing and then I'm finished, which is that the lead attorney, I haven't watched him. I'm gonna head over to him now.
We all heading over there.
And
Don't
I
worry.
am gonna send you the email that
Okay.
you drop of the different credible news stations and
Okay.
whatever that first got the story and all that kind of stuff. But just want to say the lead attorney did say, and I know about those cases. My mother was drafted for the FBI. I got a crime fighting family. Okay, so she worked at CCI Max Prison as a food rehabilitation counselor. First one in Georgia, as a matter of fact. Anyway, a Max Prison, but he was saying that's why it intrigues me that this right here may wind up being a situation
Hmm.
legally where both countries can prosecute. So whatever time they
Hmm.
do in Mexico, they if they come back to the States, they got time to pay here. Since it stretches both countries. So I'm gonna listen in more on what he's saying. And I do know there are some unique cases like that. that you have done crimes in both jurisdictions. And so I believe that is why the FBI and the
Right.
Mexico
I wonder how
authorities
that
are getting together on that. Yeah.
I wonder how that works. I'm curious to see how this unfolds. This will be new to me.
Yes, me
And
too.
so I'm actually really, really excited to see this be investigated properly and those involved be brought to justice.
Yes.
And and again, I think we're definitely gonna have a part two. My plan is to
I've
my
seen
plan is
this in
to
crime history because I watch a lot of,
I watch a lot of the
Discovery
crime joints.
ID and stuff like that. But this is the first real time, and then it being, I'm just really, really at it, the characters being so young at
Yeah.
that. Yeah, yeah, that's a issue right there. I've never
Well, listen,
seen that
we
kind of
gonna
thing.
no. Let me. We're gonna move. We're gonna migrate over to TLA because
Okay,
yo,
okay, he's
listen, I'm
on.
gonna see you. I'm gonna see you over there, and
Okay,
I'm gonna reach out to him. I think he's gonna have a special guest. I'm not sure yet.
okay.
But if he does,
I'm going because he's not always on this late at night,
that's
so it
true.
must
So
be
you know it's got to be
good.
good.
Breaking news,
All
breaking
right.
news.
Well,
I'll be there.
tell him I said I'm on the way.
Okay,
All right.
okay.
All right. Have a good night, man.
Love and peace.
Love and peace.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Oh, I love Miss Alexander. She's so sweet, you guys. Um, she's such a sweet lady. So, first of all, happy Thanksgiving to those who celebrate Thanksgiving. I know the history of Thanksgiving. You guys, we use it as an opportunity to get together with family and be thankful. Um, just thankful to be alive, be grateful. And we know Thanksgiving is not what it is cracked up to be, right? So but that's just kind of how our family celebrates. So shout out to everybody who will be celebrating tomorrow. But anyways, I just wanted to get that out. A lot of people are saying happy Thanksgiving, so plan on eating good. So anyways, you guys, listen, this was first of all, I want to say thank you so much for tonight, you guys coming over. This was a great, great conversation. Thank you so much to all the guests that came up to have the conversation. Thank you so much for everybody who donated and saw value in the conversation. You guys, I appreciate it so much. Shout out to all my members of the channel. Thank you guys so much for sticking by my side, in the good and the bad and the lovely moments. I really, really, really appreciate it. It means so much to me. It is a lot of work. It's a lot of work doing YouTube. It's a lot of work, a lot of planning. At least for me, it is. You know, some people can come in here, they just get started and they're naturals. I don't think I'm a natural, but I do think that I naturally enjoy this, and I enjoy being able to provide insight to you guys and having the conversation. So this is a little different tonight. As you guys know, I had an issue with my computer, so I lost everything. I did back up some stuff, but it was like 4 months ago, so everything after that gone. So I have to rebuild some things that I had going for you guys. I had to, had a lot of videos. I had some videos that I was editing that were very, very important. I lost those. So, I'm trying not to, I'm over it. I'm over that anger part. And you just got to move with the punches. And one of the things I always say, you got to do better next time. And so for me, it's about learning from what I need to do differently, backing up every week now. I'm backing up every week. I had so much stuff, you guys, so much stuff, but it's okay. Listen, you guys, if you want to see some additional content, some more deeper dive into this issue, TLA is going, I think he's going to have a special guest to unveil some interesting things about this case. If you're not already a subscriber of his channel, please go and check him out. He's what you would call, I look at him as like a mentor in this YouTube space. For me, he's been a big supporter and always giving me good advice. A great, great person, and I enjoy his content a lot. So please go and check him out, you guys. We're closing down shop over here. Listen, there's so much to talk about, so much going on, a lot of shootings, a lot of drama, a lot for us to cover, a lot of mysteries of murder going on in other cities. We had a mass shooting just the other day. We're going to cover it on the channel. Tomorrow's Thanksgiving. I'm going to hit you guys with another live stream probably on the weekend. So anyways, you guys, thank you so much. I really appreciate all of your support. It means the world to me. Hold on. Gail's bringing us the real time. Gail said the guest just called and won't be able to make it today, but we'll be able to make it tomorrow. Boo. It's all good. It's all good. Well, TLA is updating on some stuff, so you guys please check it out if you have time. He's probably gonna be up all night tonight. Thanks, Gail, for bringing that info. I'm gonna migrate myself over to TLA's channel as well, and I'll make something to eat and relax. Get ready for Thanksgiving. I'm gonna eat good tomorrow. Plan on spending Thanksgiving at my dad's, so looking forward to it. My brother will be in town, so gonna have a good time tomorrow. Anyways, what are you guys doing? Anybody doing anything for Thanksgiving before we get out of here? Is anybody cooking? Is anybody cooking right now? I want to see pictures. I want to see a lot of pictures. Shout out to you, Miss Alexander. What she say? Love you, Nathan, and everyone who spoke, and all of the chat family and all the moderators. Peace and bless to everyone. Miss Alexander, thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it. Miss Alexander, you know, my stumping grounds is where you live at. If you ever have any issues or need anything over there where you're at, please let me know. I'll make sure you are taken care of ASAP. All right. My name rings bells over there. I promise you. And so we will definitely make sure you're good. So please let me know. Gail said the paperwork looking funny so far. The paperwork is I'm looking at TLA right now. He's going over the report. Yeah, he's gonna break it down. Shout out to you, Crystal. Meal prep. Yes, Genesis 1. Shout out to TLA. All right, you guys. Listen, you guys be safe tomorrow. Those who are traveling, please be careful. As you know, people be out here drunk, acting stupid on the road. Please be safe. Enjoy family. It's just a beautiful time to be alive, and share with friends and family. Any questions before we get out of here? Gail says somebody email me a plate of turkey dressing. Gail, what you normally cook for Thanksgiving? What's your specialty dish? I heard you could throw down, Gail. Turkey, sandwiches, football, and beach with my little homie, my dog Bookie. Peace out, Dwayne. Peace out to you, brother. Guys, I'm excited for tomorrow. Yes. Oh, I forgot Gail don't do Thanksgiving. I forgot. Shout out to you, Genesis. Oh, it's good to be back, you guys. I forgot Gail don't do Thanksgiving. Gail says she don't do Thanksgiving because she burnt the turkey one year, and then ever since then she ain't been the same. So she ain't been the same. Thank you for the super chat, Miss Alexander. Thank you so much for this, my dear. I really, really appreciate it. I gotta get me one of them sound boards like TLA got. I feel like I need that. That's gonna be my next thing I need to look into. I need to get that soundboard. Thank you guys so much for those who donated. I really appreciate it. And shout out to all the guests. Thank you guys so much for coming up. Until next time, y'all, we are out of here. Let me hear what TLA's talking about. Here we're clowning already. Yeah. This is good. I think we right at 8, 9, 10, 11. So we right at 3 hours and a half. All right, it's perfect time to cut. Listen, you guys, let these truths find you where the lies have left you. Good night. God bless.